All right, we're live. I'm pretty excited. I've been doing live streams all day to kind of get some progress on the roughs for uh, for the next pages of the graphic novel that I'm working on. So the graphic novel is called um, "Not Death but Love: The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning," and I'm really excited to kind of get moving on it. It's a historical fiction graphic novel that talks about the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning and some strange supernatural stuff that occurred, like that actually is documented in her letters, most of which were written back and forth between her and her husband, um, Robert Browning. So it's two very famous Victorian poets, and we're kind of delving into it. So when I'm not working on this graphic novel, I'm working on other graphic novels, which you can check out below. So there's two stories, which is my graphic novel that's autobiographical that talks about my journey dealing with depression, as well as caregiving for somebody with panic disorder, and growing up as a geek who cosplayed as Indiana Jones for an entire year uh, at a Christian school, and also the hypocrisy of Christian schools and the Christian school system. And also my journey to finding faith, and ultimately it's going to be about a redemption in a fallen world. But that's for book two. So book one is currently available on Amazon. You can order it right now. And then also my second graphic novel, Jacob's Apartment, is a coming of age graphic novel that that basically talks about the questions that can shake even the strongest of faith, and it's done in the vein of like Ghost World or Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. And that's up for pre-order right now at bookstores everywhere. You can go to any bookstore around you and ask them to order it. It's Jacob's Apartment. Just tell them it's by this guy, Joshua Kemble, spelt with a Kemble. I just tried to do that with the hands, but that failed. But anyhow, yeah, and there's links below where you can pre-order it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or like any online retailer. I prefer if you go to like your local comic shop or bookstore though, and that should be out on June 7th. So you'd be asking them to like pre-order it and make sure that it's in stock at their store. And that's basically a little bit about who I am. And this stream is basically where I work on my comics. So right now I'm working on this Not Death But Love comic, and we're working on thumbnails and roughs. And I've been doing that all day today on Saturday. And Philip is in the chats saying, "Hey, you're back." Yes, I am. Philip, if you want to chat, let me know if you're up for it, if you got time. I know, Philip, you've been trying to get on here and ask me some specific questions. So I can send you a link to directly get on if you wanted to hop on. If it's not a good time, we can do a rain check for another time. And I'll try my best to kind of work on thumbnails and roughs whilst having a conversation, as long as you're okay with me occasionally stopping the conversation to kind of work out a design or an illustration problem. And he said, only if you're okay with it tonight. I know you're doing sketches. I am completely okay with it. So let me go ahead and send you a link, and then you tell me if that works, because we're friends on Facebook now, so that should work. Boom. Okay. I sent you a link that'll take you to the stream on Facebook Messenger. So Philip, that should get you there. I think it'll be a good conversation too. And often, like when I used to teach art at the college level, I used to teach at Laguna College of Art and Design, and when I was teaching classes there, and actually even as an art director, like when I'm working with like team members or like people that like other designers, I find that like quite often like people have questions and not everybody asks them. And so like quite often it's like the student or the person who like asks a question that seems like a dumb question, that actually saves everybody in the room. because everybody wants to ask the question, and it's a few people who actually have the guts to ask a question. There are no stupid questions. And so the reason I was bringing that up is like, Philip, whatever questions you have about comics, I'm sure like other people who like watch my channel and stuff are curious about it. And honestly, that kind of conversation is really valuable for other people to like learn information, and it might get into stuff that I haven't even thought to talk about on stream. So I think that'll be a really valuable, interesting conversation. Let me know if you have any issues connecting or getting on through that StreamYard link. Anyhow, so that'll do it for like the kind of rough intro. Now let me got it. He said I'll have to reopen in Google Chrome. Okay, cool. Well, just let me know how it goes. All right, so this is the format of the show. Basically, over here is where I'll be working on thumbnails or roughs. Usually, if I'm not working on thumbnails or roughs, I'll be working on art over there. And then down here is the section of the script that I'm trying to break down to kind of work out. And that's kind of the format that I've been doing these not death but love things. And then it looks like Philip's actually connected, so let me pull him into the stream. Philip, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, cool. So we got Philip. Philip, we finally get to talk.
I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
Good. I was getting a bit of double audio and I didn't want to come through. So let me just, it's really low at the moment. Give me 1 second. I don't know which audio to turn up here.
So usually,
there we go.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I was going to say, usually it can also, with the doubling, if you're getting that, you want to make sure that you don't have YouTube also opened. And then another thing with that is like maybe headphones can help too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never. Yeah, that's.
Don't worry about it. I'm not hearing slapback on my end.
I can close them. So it's best to leave it open in StreamYard and close YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I can do that.
Because YouTube has like a slight delay, so otherwise you'll be hearing like the little echo effect.
Right. Okay. I had it open, but I turned YouTube's audio down. But there's not much point because I can see it right here in StreamYard. So
that works perfectly. So how's it going? And yeah,
I'm okay. I guess overall I can't complain too much. I'm doing all right.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm hoping this works out okay for you. It's like I said earlier, because I know you said it's easier to chat when you're doing flats. So if
no,
you're okay with it tonight.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll be like occasionally zoning out for a second to like kind of do things, but I'll give you as much attention as I can. So, so what's up?
Okay.
What did you want to? You've been wanting to chat for a while.
Yeah.
What do you want to? Well, first off, why don't you let our viewers know a little bit about yourself?
Hi.
And stuff like
that. Wow. All right. My name is Phil Chandler. I used to be an animator many years ago. Actually, I should say I worked in an animation studio. I went to school for traditional animation, but in the studio, I didn't really do a lot of animating, but I was more a layout artist. I did some background.
Nice.
I was in and out of studios the first few years because of Nelvana, actually. There was most people, if you grew up with Saturday morning cartoons, you probably heard of Nelvana. I did stuff on like Rupert the Bear and Babar the Elephant. I did some work on. There was another studio across the street from it called Phoenix Animation, and I did a little bit of work in there as well on something called Mumphy's Christmas Special. I think I did.
Nice.
But unfortunately, it didn't last long. When you're young and you're in and out of studios, you kind of have to keep reapplying every time a new contract comes up for a new job.
Yeah.
And so then everything started converting to computers. They were sending stuff overseas, and I was just not getting accepted for any more work.
Yeah.
But the next few years, I started learning to do caricatures at parks.
Oh, nice.
And there used to be a really popular park in Ontario called Ontario Place, which has unfortunately since closed. Might get a big reopening actually, but I worked about 3 or 4 years doing that every summer, And considering I was only making a couple of dollars a caricature, I would walk out of there like making like $100 a day. It can be very lucrative if you find the right place.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
No,
so
I've known quite a few people who've done that at Disneyland, like the
yeah,
more kind of traditional portraiture there.
yeah.
And it can be, it can be like a breadwinning career,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get carpal tunnel because you'll just sit there. You'll get lineups of people, and you're
Yep.
just go. But no, but it taught me how to do caricatures and do them quickly, and so I did that for a number of years. Art kind of fell away from me for a while because you have to pay rent, and I sadly had to take jobs to pay the rent. I mean, I worked in a photo lab, I did security, I did building superintendent, I did all this stuff that just, it was a little bit soul crushing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's taken me a while to kind of slowly get back into doing art again. 10 years ago, I did like a small business course back in my hometown, and I started trying to do caricatures again. And I moved cities, and I sort of wound up here, which is a nice spot. I'm in a really good location right now, but I'm kind of in a bit of limbo. The last few years has just been a little bit difficult to be consistent with doing art.
Yeah.
And I'm starting. I've had a lot of ideas, had a lot kicking around up here that I want to do, and I've had an idea for a web comic for a while, but I'm kind of putting that on the back burner for just a bit. And I wanted to do a children's book, which I've had kind of mulling around in my head for a long time.
Yeah.
So that kind of just brings me to here. I do have an Instagram with a lot of art. If people want to check it out, it's Phil Chandler Arts.
Nice.
So yeah, so there's a lot of my work in there, and a lot of some of my caricatures and cartoons and things that I do there. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Cool. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that kind of catches people up with who you are and stuff like that. And I do want to throw out there too. It's like, even at the peak of animation, where there was a lot of in-betweening done like here, and a lot of the kind of stuff you were doing, where it's like, that was like, even getting just those positions, you had to have like some pretty serious chops at drawing.
Yeah. Oh,
and
absolutely.
So, yeah, and it's like, so anyhow, that's a testament to like you probably you must have like quite a bit of skill, to have pulled that off.
Yeah, I'll tell you now, I was a better artist then than I am now.
Yeah.
I kind of, after years of like I said, I kind of put drawing on the back burner, and you lose it. It's if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing, right? And I stopped for the longest time.
Yeah.
And it kind of killed a little bit of the ability. So it's I'm in my early 50s now, so it kind of, I'm sort of the point where it is. I keep drawing to try and keep it up, and
yeah,
maybe still bring my skill level back up even at this point in my life. But yeah, it's I remember actually I applied for in-betweening first, and they didn't like it. I didn't get in. Yeah, it's in-betweening's hard.
It's a beast, man. It's also like, honestly, it's one of the hard, like, not just a hard drawing, but it's just like hard labor.
It is.
Like,
it's exactly. In-betweening and cleanup were were two of the tough ones, and I couldn't do it. It was so monotonous.
Yeah.
Or monotonous, as they apparently.
I love it.
But yeah, it was just so repetitive, and just so I didn't like it anyways. But when I got into doing layout, I love doing layout.
Yeah,
because you actually take the storyboard, you break it down, you can put in some of the key drawings of the characters, you draw out the background, you're laying out what all the camera moves are going to be, and it's put together in this one big package. And so there's you get a little bit of everything in it, and I absolutely love doing layout. Yeah, it was a fun job.
So cool. So what was it you like? What are you kind of curious about? Like, what did you want to ask about?
Yeah,
I'm an open book too, so
okay,
I'll try to answer as best I can. And if I don't know something, I'll just openly admit I have no idea. So, okay.
One of the things I guess I want to ask about, because as I said, I've been doing, I'm wanting to try and work on a children's book, and I'm not really a big writer, but I know the story that I want to put down. It's very simplistic, of course, being a kid's book, and I've been trying to kind of ask some people about, especially people, artists who want to illustrate their own writing work, and I know you've put out a couple of books. So I guess I want to just ask about your process for writing. How do you sit down and focus on just writing a story? And did you write out the whole story and then go into illustrating it, or did you do a little bit at a time, or how do you, what is your process on that?
Yeah, it's interesting because like I spent a long time. I mean, so my first comic and first published book was actually like completely written by myself, and it was like while I was in school working on my BFA like years ago, like about 20 years ago now. Um, and and that I like kind of scripted out. I roughed out like kind of like I'm doing now from the script, and then I kind of like worked and finished it, and it was just like a 24-page comic, you know.
Right.
And then from there, when my career started taking off, much like a lot of artists, I thought that, you know, I as I geared my illustration career more and more towards like myself, I'd have like tons of time to work on personal work. And much like a lot of artists, I found that like the more successful my freelance career was, like the less and less time I had to work on my own personal projects. And
Mhm.
even when I was working on my own personal stuff, it was like, did I want to make rent, or did I want to like, you know,
Yeah.
like do the visionary artistic thing, and rent always won out. So, and then if, you know,
Right.
because it was freelance for so long, you know, even in successful years, you always remember the years of famine. So you're gonna like, even if you're like abundantly getting work, if you're built like me, it's like I just couldn't say no to work. So
Yeah.
so for a long time, I did that. While I was freelancing, I did start getting bothered by the fact that like I wasn't able to do my own stuff, even though I was doing like self-authored T-shirts and stuff like that. It just didn't feel the same as like telling a full story. So I
Mhm.
actually started carving at Jacob's Apartment, which was my first like finished graphic novel, which is coming out in June.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's my second published one, but I would that one I wrote a rough outline of the plot where I had like the whole story arc laid out.
Mhm.
And then from there I would do it like a page at a time. I would rough out a page or like a sequence, maybe like 2 or 3 pages, and
Oh,
then I
okay.
would go to finish on it and kind of finish it up as I was like finish the writing as it was going. I think because I got the idea from like a thing I watched where Chris Ware was being interviewed or something, and that's kind of how he works, where he writes it as he goes. I now I am so lucky to have Kendra, like the editor who kind of took a look at Jacob's Apartment. Like once I completed it, it took like, you know, 5 years or something.
Right.
Um, and uh, and then like, you know, and then after that, I spent another 5 years working on two stories, book one. Um, and but before, of course, Jacobs had gotten picked up by a publisher. But like I said, Jacobs is a lot different now than it was like in its first iteration, because I was lucky enough to have an editor who kind of came in and found some ways to tie off like loose plot threads, because that method that I was
Yeah.
describing about Jacobs, the weakness of it is you end up with a lot of loose threads that aren't necessarily all going to be tied off in a bow at the end. And like to me, as a reader and a viewer of things, I tend to like stories that don't just have like filler nonsense. Like I tend to like
Right.
one of the things I loved about like Breaking Bad as a TV show was like even the episodes that felt like they were kind of diverting out, like they all tied into this grander plot and
Right.
always furthering the character and the character growth, and like there was no waste. And I think to write like that, what I realized after Jacobs was, to write like that, what I needed to do was just go back to like the drawing board. No analogy intended there or anything. Um,
Mhm.
and or pun or whatever intended, but it literally was just sitting down and scripting out an entire script like I would, like as if I was writing it for someone else. And then going through that, sending it to friends that I know, trusted people, who I like, some of who work professionally as editors, to like give really just cold, candid feedback. And then just doing round and round of revisions. So, 2 or 3 rounds of revisions on the script, to get it up to snuff and like really feel strong about it. And then from there, break it down into thumbnails. From there, like rough out the entire book, and then finally go to final. So surprisingly, well, not so surprisingly, I personally was a lot happier with the result when I scripted the whole thing out. Because I think that's how you write. Like, I think we're trained, like we do that in school when we're like, when you're in art school or whatever, and you have to take a class and you have to write an essay. At least for me, when I wrote essays, or like when I was working on my grad degree too, it's like I had to write a thesis, and like I wouldn't just freestyle a thesis. I would like come up with a structure for it. I'd know like the main thesis, like the supporting facts, like the conclusion, and I'd have an idea of like the rough structure of it, and then I would work it, like the whole thing, give it to friends, give it to people I trusted to edit, take all those red lines and that feedback, and then like improve. And then finally, when it's like done, you have a final draft. But it's like a long process. I don't know why I was trying to dodge that for so long with art. So now I'm really convinced in the idea of, at least for me, the process that works the best is to really get a solid script, work out your script, and then start doing final pages. I think writing as you go, you can end up with some really cool art, but I think the other way, you end up with a guaranteed good story, and then it's like the art's always going to be cool if it's your own stuff, because you're gonna care about your own work more than, like if you write a kid's book, you're gonna care about how that looks more than you would care about how it looks for another client. Not that we tell that to clients, but
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or.
Yeah, it really does, actually. I think the hardest thing right now for me to do is to find some time to sit down and concentrate on just writing it. I have a lot of interruptions and distractions and things in my life. My work schedule, I'm supposed to have a fixed work schedule, and they're always calling and texting me saying they need me to, somebody's sick, somebody's away. And I'm very easily thrown off. A wrench comes in like that, I'm not very good at. It throws everything off course for me, and so for me to kind of go, okay, I guess I'll just have to shift this here, I get very frustrated and very worked
I'm the same way. I mean, I honestly I mean, my son is autistic, and from that I've started to suspect that I probably am pretty autistic, because I have very similar like, I think part of why I'm really good at doing comics is like I can sit down and like have like this intense focus for really long periods of time, and I can repeat the same behavior quite a lot and not get bored with it. Like with cartooning, like the repetition and stuff, like it doesn't get to me. It's interesting to me. But very similarly, because of that in my personality, if like a wrench gets thrown in my schedule, it's really hard. Like I don't do well with like changing shifting times either at all. The one way I got around that is with because like I'm an art director, so it's like I'm kind of on call in that sense too. Like, most of the time, now that I've been at it for a while, I've been able to structure things where it's a little more structured and I have consistent times off and stuff. But it's like there's a lot of there's still a lot of times where like if I have to stay overtime to get something done, I have to. Like that's just it does rest on me. So my schedule is slightly unpredictable. So how I got around that is just sort of setting a schedule, like with writing or whatever. If you set a goal that you have to hit every day and it doesn't matter what time, that might help. So it's like, if you're like, I mean, you could be like, I need to write 500 words a day, something like that. And it doesn't matter if the words are good. You just have to sit down and write 500 words a day, something attainable.
Mm.
And then just stick to it. Like you'll be surprised because you start building that habit. And then it's a little easier because if a wrench comes and throws you off, like you'll still have that habit to default to. At least for me,
Yeah.
that's what's helped. Like for me, I have a goal of a minimum of like a panel a day when it comes to our
Right.
comics. And if I don't do like a panel, at least one panel a day, I literally have trouble sleeping because I built that habit so much, you know?
That's just me in general. I
Yeah.
have insomnia, so
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
there you go. Like the insomnia can be a really good uh time to work on
It's
writing.
it's I've that's a whole nother story. I have, to put it in just a quick nutshell. While this is another little bit of an issue that I have, is that during the day when I'm awake, I'm at some points completely like almost falling asleep at my desk, and then when I do lie down to try and go to sleep, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, my whole system is just screwed up that way, and that's what's been making things a bit difficult for me to get anything finished. Is there something messed up with my sleep pattern, my what is it, your circadian rhythm? I guess
Yeah.
can't seem to find a proper settling place in it, and it just it's been very frustrating that way. So
Yeah, I have weird hours and barely sleep, so I kind of relate.
yeah,
You come up with ways to kind of navigate the waking world, but it's a little tough, you know.
it's hard. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I mean, you know, I don't know, like with a kid's book though, um I don't know. I would say like the best thing to do at first is just come up with your plot structure. Like, are
mhm,
you going to do like a hero's journey or whatever, you know, like kind of find like the type of story. Just Google online like basic plot structures, right? So you'll have like the different plot points that are in like a standard, like a hero's journey is a good one. That's always a pretty good structure to work from.
it's not going to be very big. This is it's a very simplistic. It's going to be in a rhyme, actually, and that's been
Yeah.
the other tricky part too, is to get it to find the words to make it rhyme and make it make sense, and to keep a rhyming rhythm
Yeah.
going with it. So yeah, but it's a very simple. Yeah, yeah.
Well, even simple, like it's really good to have that like make sure you're fitting a plot like a plot structure arc.
Mhm.
And if you're doing that where you have like, you know, your introduction, you know, what's like the rising action, like what are the different plot points? They're usually like 5 or so in a story.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Um
You're right.
And I mean, you're probably familiar with like a lot of that stuff, but it's like to me, that's the core to any story. Even if I were writing a one-page story, I would want to first like know all my points. Like, what are the stakes? What's the journey? What's the rising action? What's the now I'm blanking out on all the points. That's why I write them down. But
Right.
it's like, you know, there's the climax and then there's the resolution. And it's like usually after the climax, there's like a shift in character development. But it's like to me, even if it's like a story about a kid who like lost his stuffed animal or something, and then
Mm.
like they're looking for their stuffed animal everywhere, and then they finally like find their stuffed animal or whatever. It's that kind of thing. Like, what does the kid learn on that journey? Like, does the kid learn that they have like less attachment to things, and they felt like they had this attachment to things at first, and then when they finally achieve the thing, they realize like, oh, you know, like things aren't that important. I don't know. I'm just
Mhm.
saying like you can come up with that general plot structure at first, and then it'll help guide and thread your plot, and then your script it almost writes itself because you're like at that point you're like, okay, I have to write.
Okay.
For me, that's what's helped a lot. It's like I have my bullet points, my 5 plot points, and then it's literally sitting down and being like, okay, we're in plot one, and then when I'm working the whole time, I'm like, is this furthering that journey? If it's not, then it's scrapped. Like it's
Right.
waste. Um, I don't know. For me, that
Yeah.
helps.
I do remember way back in my um, animation schooling days, we did have a class on storytelling, and the only thing I remember vaguely out of that was they had it to 2 plot points, and that you establish your character, something would happen that would send him on this journey, and then something at the end would happen that would resolve it, and then you ended the story. So that was the two points, and that's kind of all I kind of remember from that.
No, that's a good point, because I even at a basic hero's journey, it's like there's usually like an instigation at the beginning. It can be like Lord of the Rings is always a really good example of that, right? Where it's like you've got Frodo just kind of chilling, enjoying his like peaceful life, but then he gets the call to the journey, right? And that's that first point you're talking about, where it's like a reason to kind of like, it's like, why would this person, like, what are they doing? Like, what's going to instigate the journey?
Right.
And yeah, similarly, like at the end, you have resolution of like the whole journey, and the resolution all has to do with like the character growth and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. For me, like, I think that basic structure is a good place. So like you were saying, like with the animation storytelling, like start with that.
Yeah.
Always have an answer to why. I'd say that helps me writing too. Especially with auto bio.
Yeah.
I mean, auto bio was a beast to work through, because when you start writing autobiographical stuff, like it's tempting about your life, but like, why? And you really have to ask yourself, like, is this furthering, like, what am I trying to say with my own story? If you don't have an answer to that, then you're going to end up telling a million stories, and then it just kind of comes across like a journal, but not a journal with a purpose, right? So I don't know. So do you have that like basic plot thing worked out for the kids book?
Kind of. I was going to mention something earlier, and I draw a blank on it now. It'll come back to me. I kind of knew what I wanted. I guess I can kind of tell you what it is really briefly, because I've had this.
If it's something that's like a super, like, thing with a twist or something, I don't want you to have to blow it.
No, I can. This is very, very, very simplistic. If you think back to like some of the early, like Dr. Seuss kind of that didn't usually have a major point to some of his stories, but it's called Crocs with Socks.
Nice.
It's
Crocs with Socks.
It came out of the idea that years ago I remember getting a pair of Crocs, and everybody was giving me a hard time about them. That they're just this awful. Nobody should be wearing Crocs, especially
as they should. Yeah.
With socks. And I thought, so well, so what if I did? But I mean, the whole story is this old man who's just kind of bored with his life, and he comes across this online that he sees, and he's so thrilled about this mismatching pair of socks and Crocs, but he doesn't know, and he doesn't care, and so he buys them, and he's so excited about it that he goes out for a walk and he goes shopping, and he gets these different reactions from people, and even somebody at a store just angrily tells him that he should take them off. And he doesn't understand. He's kind of confused by this. This is something that just made him happy. He's been so bored for so long, and this one thing has just come along that's made him happy, even though to everybody else, it's this horrible fashion thing. But he doesn't see it that way. And so he at the end of the book leaves, but he I guess this is where I am a little stuck on the resolution. I mean, at the end of the story, he wants to do what just makes him happy. And even if everybody else thinks it's terrible, he doesn't care. It's something that he likes that makes him happy, and why should it matter to anybody else?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the overall thrust of the story.
I like it. I do agree. I think you need a kind of like what's going to cause that realization.
Yeah. Well, I had it that it's he goes to the store, and this one neighbor of his sees him and is just appalled by this and is demanding that he leaves and goes home and and takes them off immediately, and he's just sort of heartbroken for a moment, but he leaves and decides that it's not bothering anybody else. No one cares. And
yeah, that's where I'd have something. There needs to be something that helps that decision, you know?
right.
Yeah. But otherwise it sounds
Yeah.
solid, you know?
So
I think.
that's kind of, I've already drawn kind of a goofy cover for it and everything. I know what the cover is going to look like, and
I like it.
but,
So what are you kind of hoping to do with it? Just like you just want to make the book just to make the
yeah,
book?
I'd kind of like to. Yeah, I wanted to. The way I kind of imagine it, I'm actually going to start pulling out my paints and doing it in traditional watercolor, because I haven't used any traditional art in a long time, and I thought this would be a nice thing to do that with, and start.
Yeah.
I've got watercolors and I've got watercolor paper that's just sitting there and I haven't used in ages because I bought a tablet. I've been so absorbed in this, I thought I need to go back, and so that would be, I thought would be the perfect little project that I could do with physical media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but yeah, I'll probably just self-publish it. I don't know if it's something I don't know where to even begin going through a publisher. I don't know what that process is.
Well, so if you're illustrator writer, it's best to do, like, if you wanted to go like publishing, it's best to do like a literary agent. That would be your best bet.
Okay.
But oh, hang on a sec.
Yep,
I got to go check on my kid. Hang on.
that's all right.
I'll be right back.
Let me jot that down.
Oh, never mind. Okay, my wife already got it. Yeah, so like a literary agent would be a good starting point if you have. But in order to get a literary agent, you really have to have sample pages and a finished script, right?
Okay, all right.
So you'd want to have like a really worked out script, and then you'd want to probably have like a good chunk of the pages like to completion, like to the point, that you'd pitch to a publisher if you could,
Okay.
But a literary agent will get you in front of publishers that you can't submit to, right? And in kids' books, honestly, like a lot of the publishers that you can open submit to, you really would probably be better off just self-publishing.
Self-publishing, yeah.
But the ones that you'd want in, like, the ones that would make having a publisher worthwhile usually aren't going to take open submissions, right?
Okay.
So that's why you want a literary agent, because they'll get it in front of people. If you're just doing illustration work, then you could do with like a rep, or just that you could probably do open submissions, right? Because you're just sending out samples. It's like getting illustration work. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, something to keep in mind then for sure.
But honestly, that's something I would have wanted. Like, I wish I had done that earlier, honestly, in comics.
Yeah.
Like, the best thing that's happened for me, at least with like graphic novels, is getting a literary agent. That, like,
all right,
probably should have been my first goal.
Yeah.
But it didn't hurt that, like, when I was approaching literary agents, I had some completed work, to show, right? So, yeah.
So basically, I want it pretty near completion then before I show that to anybody.
I mean, you want a finished, refined script, and then you want, you'd want, like, I would think, like, with a kid's book or something like that, like, you probably want like 5 spreads or something, or 4 spreads.
Okay.
Or maybe, honestly, like 2 spreads and the cover,
Okay.
But I mean, it's worth shooting for if you wanted to go for a bigger publisher. But otherwise, I think self-publishing is a good route.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably the best way to go for me right now, because this is like the first time I've done something like this. So the less complicated, the better.
Yeah. But I'd also recommend, like, write it out regardless and send it to people who are really good at writing.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about earlier, because I don't know a lot of people who are writers. I know people who would probably want to read it and probably want to try and tell me what, and they'll end up just changing everything. But I want to take it to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah,
knows what they're doing.
I mean,
I'll have to But
You also
unfortunately,
do want to send it to people who might have you change it, but you don't want like here's the catch. You want people who are going to change it to be closer to what your vision is, but just more effective.
right.
The last thing you want is the people who are just going to go, well, I always wanted teddy bears in a children's book. Why don't
Yeah.
we add a teddy bear? Like that's the kind of
Mhm.
changes you don't want, is like somebody who's
Right.
just
Yeah.
trying to kind of like, um, what is it when you're like voyeuristically like work through you instead. Like I've
Yeah.
definitely seen that, but I think like just honest people, like the type of person who um if you went out in public and you had like shaving cream on your face or something, they'd say it.
Right. Right.
Not the kind of people who are just going to be like not mentioning that.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I don't know if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. No, it definitely does. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I just have to find somebody like that because I really honestly don't know anybody who. And the funny thing is, I have two boarders that I rent out. Um, I live in a very unusual situation. I have an apartment, and when I moved into this building, this space here is an extra office downstairs in the building. And when I came into the building, I was talking with the owner. It's a small apartment. There's only like 7 units.
Yeah.
The I saw this extra space. There was somebody living here, but they can't legally rent it out because there's no washroom or anything here, and so it was a bit of an odd situation. So I asked when we moved in. I says, "Is there something like? Could I use this space? Like I'll fix it up, I'll clean it because the guy that lived here was a smoker, and it was awful." And she was like, "If you want to clean it and fix it up," she says, "that's fine." And she says, "I'll tell you what," she says, I'll let you have it if you can kind of help out in the building, take out the garbage, take out the recycling, maybe sweep the stairs. That office is yours."
Oh wow, cool.
I'm all for that. So yeah, so once a week I run the garbage bins out, and it's not hard. It takes me 10 minutes, so it's not like a big deal. I give the stairs a quick sweep once a week, and I get this little space down here. So at least I kind of have this nice little private area. But because of that, because I spend most of my time down here, I have two friends who rent out the apartment, and um, one of them actually, his name's Jim, and he has been in comics for years and years.
Yeah.
But he's also at the same time not the first person I would recommend getting advice from either. He does self-publish his own stuff, but he kind of has always just done it haphazardly, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's written um, for other artists, but I don't know how to explain it. He's also not somebody I would also take this to at the same time.
No, I get it. Yeah, and it also depends on, because I know other creatives who are like actually pretty good writers, but I wouldn't trust them as editors. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the people I use as editors are like people I know are like mostly English majors,
Mhm.
and like some of them have been like journalists and stuff. Like that's the
Okay.
kind of feedback I usually want.
Okay.
Because it's like I want people who are going to catch like grammatical problems or like plot holes. I'm not really worried about like people who are going to like find aesthetic issues. Like if I
Right.
want critiques, I got so many friends who do art that can be like, dude, that hands off. Like that's not hard to find in art, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people who are going to really, you know, bullet point like especially if you're doing
Yeah.
like rhyming schemes, it's good to have a second
Mm.
pair of eyes on that, because like
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
following a certain meter, you want to give it to somebody who knows meter, so they can at least like, I don't know, for me, like when I'm doing rhymes, it's like I put like dots for like each syllable, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I know it's weird, but I'll
Yeah.
be like, okay, I'm gonna do 5 3 5 5 or whatever, and then it's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
as long as my syllables are matching up, then I know that the tempo is gonna flow
Right.
for like
Right.
a rhyme. But it's like being able to give it to somebody who could understand like cadence or tempo. Like I think
I
that's
did.
good.
I did actually spend a bit of time going online and looking up people who've written children's books, and
Yeah.
and and some of them have like written out bits of advice they can give and how. the rhythm should flow, and how not to just make any words rhyme, but it should actually make sense
Yeah,
in telling the
100%.
story, and where you can actually break that, where you can actually break the rhythm a little bit when you have
Oh
to
yeah.
try to make something emphasize. But yeah, when like when you read a children's book, like a Dr. Seuss book or something, how it has a certain da 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 da
Yeah.
da, and that kind of, yeah, and so it should. So yeah, I've kind of tried to keep that in my head as I've been putting the words down. So
Yeah.
and, and a good thesaurus.
Yeah, I think that's really good. The only reason I always recommend second pairs of eyes is just like, especially
Or,
before subbing
yeah.
to a literary agent, make sure you have somebody else look at it first.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like it's funny, even working from the script I have right now, I found a few spelling errors and stuff that like our editor didn't find, the writer didn't find, and it's like it was just by accident that we stumbled upon it, and I was like, well, thank God that didn't get to print.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no
so
kidding.
it
Yeah,
doesn't hurt. Like the more people you can have look at something, the merrier.
yeah, for sure.
So for you, it's so you're starting to work on your script.
Mhm.
Sounds like you have a pretty clear idea. So is it mainly you're just trying to figure out what you should do first, like the script or the art, or just do them kind of simultaneously?
I wasn't sure, if I should, should I start? I mean, I'm still kind of illustrating and designing the characters a little bit, but yeah, I'm trying to get the whole thing. My goal was to try and get the whole thing written first, so that I had that there, and then start doing artwork after. But
Yeah.
I just, as part of me wants to start also illustrating some of what I've got written down. I'm like, no, I shouldn't jump on it yet because something might change, something might alter. So don't jump the gun just yet. And
I totally agree. I think
yeah,
the artist in you is always going to want to jump the gun.
yeah,
And then you just kind of have to remember that like you want a strong script. Like if you have a strong script, then like your art is going to be like that much stronger. Whereas if you have a weak
sure,
script with great art, like it's that's a hard one.
yeah,
It's a hard sell.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah,
I
it's
will tell
definitely.
you, like the friends I know that have gone the literary agent route in kids books are like huge in kids books now.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where I want to land my niche permanently. Because
Yeah.
eventually I do have an idea for comic / graphic novel, what have you, that I want to actually start tackling later on. But this
Ooh.
is something I've had in the back of my head I wanted to start with anyways, just to get.
It's a good thing to start with,
Mhm.
why not?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it'll
So,
get you back in the flow of like kind of creating.
well, that's, yeah, and that was the whole thing. Yeah, it's been part of its purpose. I thought this
Yeah.
might be a good place to start because I know this is something I've wanted to do for a while and I've had in the back of my head for like nearly 10 years. So,
Oh
I
yeah,
thought,
well in that case, like just do it.
yeah, yeah.
But you
I
gotta give yourself a deadline too. I think that's gonna help.
That's the
Like,
hard thing, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I started this part-time job with the YMCA, and like I said, it was only supposed to be like 20 hours a week. And as soon
Yeah.
as I started, they were short on people. There was two people were sick with COVID. Somebody else, it was their vacation. Next thing I knew, I was nearly 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
like just starting. And I was angry. I was coming home exhausted, and
Yeah.
like this wasn't what I signed up for. This is what I thought it was going to be, but they're desperate for people. And my boss is she's super nice, and she was extremely grateful because she was just pulling her own hair out to get shifts covered.
Yeah.
So now I feel bad. I don't want to quit the job because I do need the money, but I didn't want to like spend my whole life at the YMCA.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta,
tough.
this was just supposed to be supplemental while, I could do this and then come home and go back and work on my artwork. So for the first couple of months, I was just, wow. I was, because it's hard, especially at my age. It's cleaning job, and I just at my age, it's hard now. And you come home, and I'm exhausted, and you just kind of want to turn on the TV and watch something or online,
Oh,
and I'm
see,
just
there's
like,
your time right there though.
oh, and it's like, until yeah, and that's yeah, and it's even then, I would watch something and maybe half an hour. I'm like, I can't even do this. I'm just too exhausted, and yeah. So
But that's a half
thankfully,
hour you could be writing,
I
you know.
know, and it's but your brain is just not in that place now, and especially when I'm frustrated and I'm just so it's hard to kind of bring it back around. The nice thing is now that's settled down. They've got more people, and I'm now back to about 20 hours a week, which is just where I want it. Like I don't want any more than that. So now I feel like I can start. I've been trying to pull open the iPad and start typing out lines again, and yeah. So I'm trying to get back into a rhythm.
Nice. Yeah, I think
It's
I think uh I think that sounds good. I wouldn't be so easy on yourself though. Like give yourself a goal. Like you have
okay.
to write
So much a day. It's
even if it's until the script's done, you got to do, I don't know, it's a children's book, so you got to do a page a day.
right.
And then when that's done, you have to revise a page a day.
Okay. All right. That sounds fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, you do that, you'll be it, you know, you're doing like a 32 page book or 24 page book.
It'll
I
probably
mean,
be about 32, I think, by the time
don't go past
I.
32. That's one of the
Yes.
problems that self-publishers have a lot. Like they'll do like a 50-page children's book and it's like, no,
Well,
no, no.
yeah, I've heard that for children's book. Actually, the
Yeah.
32 was actually the maximum for that. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
that's a good spot because
Yeah,
I've
that's a
also got to
really
illustrate this. So
yeah, that's a good yeah. Anything beyond that, that's a lot of illustration too. But yeah, also
yeah.
kids just depending, you know, if it's a chapter book, you can get like longer, but you
No,
know,
it's there's actually a book. I actually ordered one online, a used one that because I love the artwork and I love the way the book was laid out. So I ordered one and it was where'd it go? I had it here. The Squirrels Who Squabbled, and it was by an Australian um it was a different author and an artist, but the artist particularly, what was his name? Jim Field, who did this book. And I looked at how he laid out the pages, and it was so amazing how he had different illustrations on one page, and he would have it all in different kind of sections. And it was, then he'd open up one page, it would be one full splash on this big moment of the story, and it would cover like 2 pages. And then it was almost sort of comic bookish, but without lines in a way in some areas. And
awesome.
and the artwork is just beautiful, and the characterizations in it, the cartoons in it are funny and they're entertaining. And I looked at this, and there was so much life to this book, and I had to pick one up.
That's
I
awesome.
ordered one online just because it was, and it's kind of inspiring to see something like that. And I thought this is exactly what I'd like. Well, not exactly, but this is something like what I'd like mine to look like.
Yeah, that's good though. Like, cause you know, if you have like an aesthetic vibe, you're kind of going for that. That'll help. I think, man, there's so much good work in kids' books. You know,
It
that's
really is.
like Weisner. I still think is like when you bring up like blending comics and you know children's books. It's like to me, I think of Weisner's.
Okay.
Now I'm forgetting what the book was. So he did a book called Tuesday. That's like notorious. It's like just a legendary children's book. It's
That
completely
sounds
silent.
familiar.
He's one of those guys though. He's not doing a lot of like cartooning. He's doing like rendering. So it's like these
Okay.
pages that are just, I mean, they're beautiful. They're like, especially if you're a fan of watercolor.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys when you see his washes, you're just like, I don't know if I should ever do watercolors. Like he's so good. But he did like a kid's book called Tuesday that won a ton of awards years back, and it's completely silent, but it tells the story of this one strange night where a bunch of frogs start floating on toadstools. Toads start floating on toadstools and then flying throughout a city. And then like eventually, like, you know, the cops show up, like trying to clean up, and a cleanup crew to like clean up all these toads, and the toads all kind of go back and escape back into the pond.
I have to look for that now.
Yeah, it's an excellent book, but he
Tuesday
also
it's
did
called.
another book, and I'm blanking out on the name, but it's like it's got sequential stuff like a comic, but it's all about a kid finding like a shell on a beach
Mhm.
and a photograph, and he looks at the photograph, and then there's like a photo within the photograph, and so that becomes the
Mhm.
next page, and then
Oh,
that's like
okay.
somebody finding another object that becomes a photo
Wow.
within a photo, and so it's like a page that just eternally zooms.
That's really
But it
cool.
also has like sequential like comic stuff in it.
What a great idea. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love stuff like that. Dang.
but there's so many good kids book artists. I
It
feel like
really is, yeah.
Mo Willems is still like amazing, like the pigeon books.
I'm finding a lot of like I'm trying to keep an eye out for anything like that. If I find something that really strikes me, I'll pick it up. And I was looking at some kids' books. I think I forget it was Home Sense or something, and I was not impressed with any of them. Somebody put out a whole series, but you could tell it was somebody who just sat down in front of Photoshop, really wasn't an artist, and just made a bunch of shapes and
Yeah,
filled them in. And somehow these got published as a series of books, and I'm just looking like going, this is not impressing me at all.
yeah. Like the thing I like about Mo Willems is just from a design standpoint, he's amazing. But he is very basic in like what he's doing. My friends who are Canadian, the Fan Brothers, are probably the best living children's book artists right now.
What's their names again?
The Fan Brothers,
The Fan
Terry,
Brothers, right?
yeah,
Again, I'm gonna write that down.
hmm
Fan
yeah,
Brothers, right?
yeah. They just did, what is it, Izzy in the Cloud or Lizzie in the Cloud? They
Okay.
just released that, but they did the Night Gardener. It Fell from the Sky. Like if you see those, like they're like in the realm of like Sendak level books.
Okay.
Um, they're very exciting. I'm very excited for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've been just
Okay,
like
yeah, let's
having
look up.
immense success with it. So,
All right.
and I kind of like met them back in the t-shirt days because they sort of cut their teeth on Threadless, which is where I kind of like
Okay.
built my career initially. They were huge when they were on Threadless, but like they're the friends that initially got like a literary agent, and then like their careers sort of took off. Because like again, like if they were to self-publish or something, they would have sold a lot of books even with an indie publisher, but a literary agent got them in front of like Simon and Schuster, and like
Okay.
so then like you're having like much different distribution. You have a whole mechanism of promotion behind you. So I don't know. But also because they're Canadian, you should check them out because they
Yeah,
happen to be some
definitely.
of the best illustrators around right now in kids
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, definitely will. This has all been really good stuff for me tonight. This is kind of the kind of thing I need to hear and need to know. So
Okay, cool. I
yeah.
I hope so. I have a tendency to ramble when I talk to people, so I hope
Oh, yeah.
it. um, I'm excited to kind of see what you work on and like what you make.
Yeah.
I think.
That's something I've been debating too. Is once I get it written, I thought of kind of doing something like what you're doing now, and maybe doing some lives or some short videos, maybe to put on YouTube.
Hmm.
I have a YouTube channel too, by the way.
Nice,
Phil Chandler Arts or Chandler Arts, I think. But yeah,
awesome.
it sort of hit a bit of a lull, and I'm just starting it back up again.
You should do some
But
live streams, man. That'd be
yeah, that's what I'm
awesome.
thinking of doing. Oh, we are going to do sort of a video cast. Another friend of mine and I are going to do a bit of a video cast about once every couple of weeks to once
Awesome.
a month or so. We're going to try and get that going. I just need to figure out StreamYard and how I'm going to do that. But we're definitely going to get that going.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I've been debating whether or not to show the progress of the book. There's a little bit of a fear of mine in the back of my head that somebody might try and steal the idea before it's done, um, but I don't know if that's anything to be too concerned about. But
I'm of a different mind about that. Like I used to have that kind of thought, but thinking about it, it's like you're probably actually better off like having a stream because if somebody stole it, you could like actually have a place to claim
I have a
it.
record of it. True. Yeah.
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 And then aside from that, like I don't know, I hate to say it, but it's like no idea is that special. Like
Yeah.
uh I don't know. I mean, like at the end of the day, like whatever you make is going to be yours. It would be awfully strange if somebody totally ripped you off, but at least then you'd have like a place to claim it, you know?
Yeah. I even looked it up. I thought when I started this, I thought for sure somebody's done Crocs with socks. That seems like such an obvious thing. And I
Yeah.
looked it up, and there is only one book called The Croc and the Sock. That's the closest thing. And it was about a crocodile who finds a random sock. So I thought,
That's
okay,
what
that's
I
like,
thought when you initially said Crocs and socks. I was
right.
thinking of a bunch of crocodiles walking around in socks.
Socks.
So
And so, yeah, so what I've got is like completely different then.
the
So,
one thing you should look into is if Crocs is like a trademarked shoe.
oh, shit. Yeah,
That could
that's
be a problem.
a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I thought that was just kind of a
It
nickname for that
probably
type of
it
slipper, but
probably is like a nickname, but just in
yeah.
case you wouldn't want to do like Nikes and or Adidas and like
Oh
if
yeah,
it's
no, I
something
wouldn't
like
touch
that,
that.
then you wouldn't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good point. I just kind of thought that's what people called them. So,
It probably is,
yeah,
but double check
yeah.
that just in case.
If it is, I'm gonna
Um,
have to rethink it.
so Wilson's retreating to the stairwell and starting to go up. Okay, Moulton's gonna stride away. Aha. Okay, this is where it's getting very like sequential here. Trying to like thumbnail this out.
If you need to get back to that, I don't want to distract you for too long. So,
Oh, no worries. I've been making pretty good progress on it. While we're talking, I just like
yeah,
had
yeah, we're
one brief
watching.
moment of
Hmm.
because I think she's gonna be kind of looking this way, like eye over. It's my little pigeon drawing there. I think Mo Willems is brilliant though, but I can understand like people who would be thrown off because he is very simplistic in the way he's like drawing the characters and stuff.
Oh, have a
Uh,
look. He's the one who wrote Tuesday, right?
oh no, Mo Willems is like the guy who does the pigeon book, and that's more equivalent to like
Oh,
the
okay.
the kind of thing you were talking about, where it's like very much like shape based, very very simple.
Oh, okay.
um,
So
So I
I'll
don't
have a
know if
look.
that would be your speed, but I think he's brilliant. He does a whole series of books like the Elephant and Piggy books. Um,
Okay.
I'm probably a little biased to them too because my son like absolutely loves those
Yeah.
books.
You can do like if you can take simple things, and if you're creative enough with them, you can do something interesting with them.
Yeah, like
What I
Eric Carle, was always like with the the very hungry caterpillar. That was pretty
pretty much,
simple shapes.
yeah. No, what I saw when I was at Home Sense when I looked at it, it looked like something that had been rushed and banged out for the sake of putting in these books without a whole lot of
Yeah,
thought or creativity put into it.
yeah. There's a lot of that out there.
So it was not. But no, I've seen some books with some beautiful work in it, and it's that kind of thing that's always inspiring to me, and I like to see what people are doing.
Man, there's so many actions going on this page that I'm supposed to be doing. It's hard to kind of. Okay, I might be overdoing it with what I'm going to be sort of thumbnailing here. I think like it's like so I have a person. She's going up the stairs. She's waiting for him to retreat. He retreats, right? He's off. This is going to be her noticing that. Now we're already at 369 panels. So this might actually have to be like a tall page or something. We'll figure it out. Once he's out of sight, Wilson creeps back down the stairwell to the front door and opens it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, that's what it'll be. It's going to be like him here, stairwell up here. She's going to be kind of creeping back.
It's so much like storyboarding. I remember
Yeah.
we used to work with storyboarding so much, and the thing with storyboards is when you're going to tell a story that's going to be shown visually, you have unlimited number of panels you can show to illustrate what you're trying to convey. Whereas comics, you've got to bring it in to that segment of the story and pick what you're going to indicate to the audience so that it's clear to the audience. So you can't have multiple panels just to show one little bit of action. Somehow it has to be indicated in one or two panels.
Yeah, so it's I think like the
That's
only thing in storyboarding that would be comparable is it's more like keyframes, right? Where you're like
almost, yeah.
yeah, because like in storyboards it's like when you got the one shot that you really want to highlight, that's pretty much comics are just like a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But I think I might actually make that work with 3, 6, 9, 12 panels. That's oh my gosh, what am I doing? You sure you want to do comics, man?
The funny thing is this the story that I have in mind later on, what I'd like to do is a book. I originally had in a perfect world, if I had the right connections and I had the money, I would really love to do as an animated series.
Oh, nice.
I just don't have those kind of connections and at this point in my life, the ability to do that. And everybody keeps telling me, well, do it as a comic, do it as a comic. At first I was like, oh, there's too much mix of visual and sound that I want together in this, but it's not going to happen. So a book form is going to be the closest I'm going to get to this. So I think of it, and I even talk about it in terms of scenes and episodes and seasons even. So it's going to be interesting when I go to tackle that.
Yeah.
Handled.
I think the neat thing about comics though is like you can do so much with them. And it's like it's weird because it's like I've definitely met a lot of people who like sort of initially started comics as like almost like a filler for like television. And then ended up like falling so in love with the process. Because it is very addictive and kind of.
Because I even thought of doing a web comic where I've seen people actually do panels and even have people read the dialogue and add voices to the characters and add music and have some of the panels turning and a little bit of motion in them. And I thought of putting something like that together too.
Why not?
So that'd be a huge undertaking, but yeah, that would be closer to convey what I want to convey. So
I think it sounds good, man. So you got to start with the kids' book, get that thing done.
Yep, that's got to be done. Yeah, for sure.
Set a goal. Like, when do you need to? When's your deadline? You need a deadline for.
Originally, when I was starting this back in November, December, I thought it'd be nice to see if I could get it done by summer, end of summer, but that's not going to happen since work kind of threw a wrench into that. But I'd like to see if I can get it done this year anyways. I've given myself a lot of time. So I don't know how is that enough for a children's book? I don't know how long these take. So I'm kind of just
take to execute or just do the script for?
Oh, well, just to get it executed right till it's finished.
Oh yeah. You need to probably have a little more time depending on how good you want to make it, I don't know. I mean, my wife's done quite a few this year. I don't know how she's so quick though. She's a really quick artist.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing if you worked in animation, you can probably work pretty quick.
Like I said, I'm not as good as I used to be, but I think once I have the character design down, and I used to do background paintings as well.
Yeah, so you can work quick.
Yeah, I want to bring that back again. So I could put out a few pages, and if it's going to be a few similar scenes, I can start putting down multiple ones and just go through and get washes down and so.
Watercolor is a relatively quick medium too.
It's
almost like if you take too long on watercolor, you can destroy it. That's the fun part about watercolor is if you spend too much time, it can be a testament against it. So it's
it's not very forgiving. So
it's a medium where you do a wash, you're gonna do the wash. Even wet on wet, you can do that once or twice. Do wet on wet more than that, and you again
you just start lifting fibers off the paper and That's
awesome. That sounds fun. I want to work on traditional watercolors.
I have sets
Sounds
of them
good.
here. As I said, they've just been sitting here, and I'm like, I picked up all these markers called Tombow markers that I really like, and they're water-based marker. So
Nice.
I thought I can get the washes done, and then when I come in for more detail, I can pull out the Tombows, and they're really nice brushes, and I can get in there and do some of the nice detail on things like shirts and when I need to do the stripes on the socks and that kind of thing. So they'll come in handy. So I'm anxious to kind of start doing that. So
Yeah, you should.
get that going.
So I would make your end of summer be like your script. Have your script done
Okay.
by what, like June, the end of June? You could have a script
Okay.
pumped out by then, right?
I think I could. Yeah, because it is already started. I've written out about 2 pages, 2 pages worth. No, probably, and I have the general outline laid out. I should even more than that.
So you do have an outline. That's good. And
Yeah.
so
I do have
just
a rough outline. As I said, the ending, I just need something to kind of pull it together in the end. And I've been debating whether or not to take off a chunk at the beginning to kind of condense it a little bit more at the beginning, so that it jumps into it a bit faster and doesn't take so long to get into it.
So do you think, okay, I've got, I don't know, some suggestions. Like, so, and again, take them or leave them, right?
Mhm.
Could it be something like maybe there's a character who's teasing him a lot about the Crocs and socks, right? And they're very proud of their like very standard shoe choice.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that like at some point he witnesses that character getting teased for their standard shoe choice, and then he realizes like it's just a matter of taste, like everybody's just choosing whatever they want to wear.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe it could be that character.
Because it is somebody who runs into at the end that
Or maybe it's just that like they just make such an awful shoe choice themselves that he's just like, well, I mean,
what are you wearing?
yeah, like maybe it's what would it be, like Birkenstocks and what would be a Birkenstock thing? Birkenstocks and socks would be kind of a weird choice too. So
I had it written as actually, and it doesn't matter too much. I did have it written as a woman that he runs into that it was a female character that was an older female character that was like, you know, it's very eccentric, a big hat and beads.
Oh, see, okay, that works. He just sees somebody else kind of being themselves and is like, oh,
yeah,
that's a good way to roll. Yeah.
But this woman though, she's the one who ends up kind of chewing him out for like, you know, how could you go out in Crocs and socks?
Oh, that's so goofy. So that is very Dr. Seussian.
Yeah,
I like it.
And she put away her cereal box. How could you go out in Crocs and socks?
I had totally forgotten like Dr. Seuss quite a bit until having a kid, and then it is just such like timeless, like kind of fun stuff, you know, especially when it starts getting into like the tongue twisters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, that guy was on a different level. I feel like him and Shel Silverstein were clued into something epic. Another of my favorite children's artists would be Arnold Lobel.
Arnold Lobel?
Yeah, he did like Frog and Toad Are Friends.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually, oddly enough, a huge influence on the style that I'm working in here. I'm kind of emulating that, not his style of art, but the medium that he's working in. That's kind of what I'm trying to emulate a little bit with
Lobel. What was it you wrote again?
Frog and Toad Are Friends. I think he was really well known for illustrating. He got like the Caldecott for some Aesop's fables that he did.
Oh, okay.
In like the
I was
80s.
picturing like Mr. Toad for some reason, those old Mr. Toad stories.
They're kind of similar-ish. Okay. But Frog and Toad Are Friends is a great children's book. He also did one called oh my gosh, I think it's just called Owl or something.
Okay.
But they're so good. Like they're really fun little fables. Like most of his stuff are like fables or little little stories, little snippets, snapshots of these silly characters.
Right.
Oh, of course, it had to be 12 panels. 12 panels. Why?
Need a big page then.
Yeah. So, all right, we're at an hour mark. I'm gonna probably put on a trailer.
All right.
You're free to honestly hang out if you want, or go if you want as well. Like honestly, either is fine. It's been fun. It's been fun conversing with you. So if you
likewise. Cool. I did. There was a couple other things I wanted to ask about super quick.
Okay. Do you want to?
If I can before you go, and then maybe I can let you go then for the evening, and I can maybe get back to writing.
Cool. But, yeah, that sounds good.
One thing was you said you were coming to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
What was that's June?
I have to look it up.
I'm hoping it's not the same weekend as Anime North, because Anime North I do caricatures for, and that's a big convention I do every year.
So TCAF is June 17th through the 19th.
Okay, all right. Because I'll try and come down. I'll see you. I might only be able to make it for the day, depending on the weekend. I might be able to come down the Saturday, but
yeah. And I think it's free, which is cool. I'm pretty sure you'd have to look on their website, but from what I understand, I think it's a free convention, which is cool.
Oh, okay. Even if there's a fee, I don't mind paying to get in. And I don't know if after, I don't know how late it goes. If you want to grab a coffee after or something.
Yeah, possibly. I don't see why not. Yeah, I don't really know the area, so I'm always happy to know locals who can at least recommend places to eat or something. Worst case scenario, we could at least grab lunch at the con or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm for that. I just got to make sure it's not the same weekend as Anime North. Anime North used to be on in May, but they had to shift it because of what happened with COVID over the last couple of years and the hotel booking. So I just need to actually make fun of it super quick, but I just need to find out the weekend of that, and then hopefully it doesn't conflict.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not till July. Okay, that's perfect then.
Sweet.
So yeah, I'll definitely set that weekend aside. That Saturday.
That sounds awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It'll be my first time in Canada, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably won't get to see much of Canada. This is the irony of comic conventions. Is you tend to not see much of the area other than the convention center, but it's still fun,
Sure.
And
are you there by yourself? Are you with anyone else, or?
Well, I'll be there boothing at the Graphic Mundi booth. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and then there's a ton of cartoonists. Honestly, for literary comics, there's a ton. So I think it's a convention I've heard about for years. So from indie cartoonists. So
I've wanted to go for a long time, and it always landed on a weekend that I couldn't make it for whatever reason, whether there was another convention I had to go to, or I was just gone that weekend. Every time it was oh, come on. It was but
yeah, I totally understand. That tends to happen to me too with stuff around here where I'm it sounds really cool, but I just can't,
for a reason. Yeah. So. No, I so far I don't have anything on that weekend then. So definitely, I know I have to work on the Friday and I have to work on the Sunday. So that Saturday I can.
Awesome.
I'll definitely make it down. So yeah.
Think
All right.
Well, was there any other questions you had before I
I think that's good for now. I mean, I could probably sit and ask questions all night, but for generally that was kind of it. And I just want to kind of how you kind of approached your writing and
awesome.
Help give me a bit of an idea. So, but yeah.
Well, I really very much appreciate it. And again, you're welcome to stick around if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the trailer and disappear for a few seconds.
All right. I might stick on for a bit longer then. Cool. I do have to just reply to somebody who's been texting me like crazy and he's like, what are you doing? Where are you? I'll get back to him real quick then while you put on your trailer and all.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And then, okay, here we go. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, there it is. We'll put on the trailer for Jacob's apartment, and I'll be back in about a minute.
All right, sounds good.
Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing things. I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams.
All right, so I am back, and Philip Chandler's joining us. Philip has a YouTube channel, and then also he's on Instagram as well, so you guys should be following him. And he joined just to kind of ask some questions and kind of hang out. So, yeah.
Actually, one of these days, that's something I gotta figure out. Is I've seen a few of the art casts. I got to figure this thing out on StreamYard. So I don't know if they used, like, if you guys used, I don't know who does that, who sets it up, or if you all participate. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so we use StreamYard, and then like Corey Kerr and I use OBS a lot, and I think actually let's see here. I think that Scott has started using OBS as well for streams. So It's like, I don't know. OBS is great. I don't know if you work on Mac or Apple.
I'm on a Mac.
So you are on a Mac, or you don't? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I am. Yeah, I'm on a Mac.
So OBS is really cool with a Mac. You can actually use a phone connected as a camera, which is pretty cool.
I kind of prefer not to if I can. I was using OBS, and then I started using OBS now it's just called Streamlabs.
Yeah,
I found that one a little bit easier to use. It was I was able to work with it a bit more. OBS was giving me a little bit of trouble on a couple of things.
Nice.
So I switched over to Streamlabs, and I just found that easier to set things up. So, so I don't know if I can use that. If I have, like, I've got a friend of mine I want to set up a live, something like this, and there'll be a third person as well. So I don't know if we can all go, we just use Streamlabs, or should I use StreamYard? I've heard StreamYard is actually really good for this. So
StreamYard is great. It's it's very intuitive. If you're willing to kick in the extra amount and like pay for it, I think that it's even better. If you don't pay for it, you're always going to see up, like, on that side of the screen, you're going to see like a duck.
Oh, okay.
That just won't go away.
All right.
But it's great. Like, good example. Gary, I think, is watching us, and like I didn't even call this out, but if I wanted to call out, like, he mentioned, he was like, "Hi all," I can show it and pull it up. That's not like a hard thing to do on this. I don't know. It's very intuitive. I like it.
Okay.
As a platform,
let me ask you, how much is it a month, or is it a monthly fee, or just a yearly fee? Or
off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Okay, I'll look it up after. That's fine.
But yeah, it's it's not impossible, and it's I don't know, it's I like it a lot as a streaming platform. I mean, as you can see, it's like pretty relatively easy for guests in particular, because you just send them a link. They don't have to have like some special software.
Right.
It's a little buggy if people try to go directly from a link on their iPhone or iPad. So if they like end up
Okay.
cutting and pasting that
It
into
doesn't.
like, go ahead.
It doesn't like Safari.
Well, it does actually like Safari on phones, but you just have to cut
Oh,
and paste it into Safari.
okay.
But Chrome is always a little bit better, I think,
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
in
using
general
there.
with most programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's yeah, like, and to also be able to have it set up so that each box that the individual is in, if say like yourself, I can see you and I can
Yeah.
see what you're working on. So to have that for somebody to say they want to draw while they're talking.
So that part
Yeah.
is the stream. That like all that setup is done through OBS.
Okay.
So that part is OBS. And then yeah, let's see here. So like, that's just using OBS, and then you have OBS as like a camera that's output into StreamYard. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So
It
it's
does.
like, I think the two combined are like a superpower, because OBS can be kind of buggy
Yeah.
when you're trying to do just a direct stream.
Okay.
But when you have it just as like a camera output, it's great. So
Okay.
and then you can do all sorts of things like, in fact, I'm kind of surprised I didn't do this, because I forgot to turn this back on after. But you can have like your own title card and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I'm really impressed with is just the fact that like there's not much of a delay between you and I. Like you're hearing me like there's in real time. Like I'm talking and you're replying like I'm talking on the phone.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
no big gap between you and I. So it's really tight that way. That I've really been impressed with.
Yeah, it's very impressive. The only downside is obviously, typical internet stuff. Like if somebody's got a bad connection, something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's always going to create like that weird robot lag or whatever. But yeah, it's been good to us. It's been a pretty good program.
Okay.
I
That is my
like
concern
it.
because of this office that I'm in. There's a lot of concrete. My modem is actually upstairs in the apartment, which is 2 floors up and 1 over, and there's a lot of concrete. And I use these Wi-Fi pods that extend the signal out. So every once in a while, because there's so much concrete, it'll give out for a short bit.
Oh,
So
okay,
that
that makes
my
sense.
only concern is that it might suddenly crap out all of a sudden, and I have to kind of wait until it relinks again.
Yeah, that's got to be nice for so it's got to be nice for sound, where like you can stream or talk and like not keep your neighbors awake,
Yeah, yeah,
That's got to be a nice like
yeah.
benefit,
Because right behind that wall is just the laundry room. If somebody was to go in and use it, like it's open 24 hours, I can hear it. I don't know how loud that would come through on here. You might not hear it, but I know I can hear it if somebody goes in and starts using it.
Well, you can always make it like a bit. I mean, today when I was streaming throughout the day, there was like my son was sick and threw up, and our dogs were barking and stuff like that. And we just,
Yeah.
you just roll with it and
You just
like
go with it. Sure.
tell
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
what's
that's
going
fine.
on. You can say like, "Hey, I'm live from in front of the laundry room," like make it a bit, And then if you hear laundry, maybe make like a, game out of it. Be like, I don't know, do a bet on like how long the cycle will take to finish or something, I don't know.
Actually, the funny thing too is that I do have a neighbor that I know who his bedroom is right upstairs, like right above me. His bedroom is actually this directly above his
Yeah.
bedroom, and I know when he has his girlfriend over.
Yeah,
So
yep,
yeah,
that's apartment living.
yeah.
It took me about a year to be able to follow, because my wife and I lived in like so many different apartments. It took me a
Mhm.
year or two to get used to not having like neighbor noises, It's just it's a strange thing to
Yeah.
try to get used to when you're used to like, you know,
I've lived in
having that.
apartments most of my life, and I'm kind of used to it now. So
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
coming from that, you get so used to it that like it literally took me a year to get used to not having that.
not having it, geez, to not
Yeah.
have that, yeah.
It's kind of
It's
like I grew
wild.
up
Yeah.
near a train track when I was
Oh
younger.
God,
Like
yeah,
we lived close to some train tracks, and so you'd hear trains late at night. You know, like that soft like hum of like a, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It took me forever when I first moved out, and I didn't hear trains. It was really weird. You know, it's funny. It's funny what you get used to. You know.
You get used to, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, man. I'll tell you something funny. I moved so much in my life that I'm in this space now where I have a really good deal with the landlord
Oh yeah.
and the building owner is what she is, and I have this all set up. And it's like I don't want to move again. I've moved so many times in my life that I just do not. I don't want to move. I don't want to have to pack and move again. So I'm hoping she has no
Yeah.
plans to like sell the building anytime soon because I'm happy here and I'm near grocery stores. I don't drive, and everything is within walking distance.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Everything is just, yeah. To get to Toronto is super easy. There's the GO train that links all the cities in the GTA along the lake, and
Awesome.
so you can go to Toronto is just I go over, hop on the GO train, takes me straight into Toronto. So I can get anywhere on public transit. So I don't need a vehicle, and
That's the
I'm
way
happy
to that's
here.
the way to do it.
And it's yeah, and so I'm hoping I don't ever have to move again. I've always had this weird obsession with tiny homes. I've always thought one day I'd love to get a tiny home.
Yeah, I
But
went down a rabbit hole or a trail of that like years ago where I was just like looking at tiny home stuff. I don't know. It is fascinating that people
it
are able to
is,
do that, you know.
but there's nowhere in Ontario where you can put them down. Even some trailer parks, they won't accept them. So there's
Yeah.
nowhere to really put it, and anywhere that's convenient. The few places that will are just like way out in the middle of nothingville, and it's so there's nowhere you can really settle it comfortably and be close to anything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
as much as I like them, they're kind of out of the picture. So
Oh yeah, tiny homes are I mean they're awesome. They're also like I've known people who've invested in tiny homes and then end up spending as much as they would on a big home. Fixing electrical and all sorts of
oh, is that right? Yeah, I can
you can end up
imagine.
in a real it's like it can work, but it can also be like equivalent to like owning a boat, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Where it's like if you've ever known somebody who bought a boat, like you never just buy a
yeah.
boat. You're like, even if you own a boat, you're pretty much leasing a boat and it's going to drain money until you
Yeah.
sell the boat.
It's not, yeah, they're not an investment at all. They're a big toy, basically.
Yeah, a big expensive money eating toy. Yeah.
Toy, yeah, yeah. But even tiny homes are not cheap now. Like they're not
No.
they're not that much of a cheaper investment. Like there's a guy in Montreal, or I think he's in Montreal, who I know it's in Quebec, who has a whole YouTube channel called Minimalist Tiny Homes, and they show the progression of building these homes for people, and they'll do tours, and it's really fascinating, and they
Yeah.
deliver them all over like Canada and the U.S. And but they start at like 120,000.
Yep.
They're not cheap.
No.
No.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's funny because it's like to somebody in LA that's cheap, but you
Yeah,
know,
I guess to me that still sounds expensive. I mean, it's no different in Toronto. It's super expensive. This area that I even live in is actually really expensive. So
yeah, isn't that crazy? It's
yeah,
like costs of living are very prohibitive I think for artists in general.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
But man, the tiny home thing that got me was like seeing the people who like made their own like hobbit like villages and stuff like
Oh yeah.
like that to me is
Yeah.
amazing. Like I would love to have like an underground like hobbit kind of scenario. going on. So
we'll live kind of off grid and figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that to me sounds really great until I think about the reality of doing it, where it's like even with housework, there's some stuff I'm able to do, like, and then there's times where like I have to just call a plumber or like hire a professional.
And just do
And
it,
I realized that like for me, the off the grid thing would be like my life would be just calling professionals and being like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
But even still, I'm thinking you have to have a generator for your electricity. You have to get your water all the time. You have to figure out what your water source is going to be.
Yep.
Composting toilets, you have to keep having to change if you're using tanks to have people come and change that out. So you most of your day is spent just upkeeping your way of life.
Yeah, you end up working to not work.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, and it's like the money saving parts could basically be like paid for in the time, it's tough, man. Yeah. But I still love tiny homes. I still think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm always looking at tours and that on YouTube, and then I'll watch.
Oh, those channels, man, can be so addictive.
Yep. That.
So
I'm watching you do this. I gotta ask, because it looks like your characters are like in this particular panel you're working on, the character is on a different level.
Yeah, the character is. I'm using some animation tricks here, actually.
Because that's if I ever do something digitally, that's exactly how I would do it. I'd probably even lay it out exactly like I would do animation with a cell and have the characters so I can move the characters if I need to. I couldn't do it all on one flat page.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, it's weird. I've worked that way where characters are separate. Right now, I'm just doing that for comping, like, for instance, I was going to reuse the same background. So I'm just, like, why redraw the background? But when it comes to final stuff in comics, I usually do kind of keep it all together at the end. However, at work or like when I worked in education and I was doing like a lot of stuff that was like vector based, I would do that like straight up as if it was an animation. So I'd do like a full background and then do characters separated so you can move the characters wherever. It was almost like making color forms, which like hardly anyone remembers now. But do you remember color forms? They were like, it was like a play set.
But I'm not sure what.
Yeah, it was like a play set that you'd buy as like a kid where it would be like a big vista, like an animation type background. And then you'd have like these little characters that you could like stick and move on the background.
I remember those.
Those were called color forms. And I used to explain to people that like when I was teaching digital art, I'd explain to them like that was a good way to build files for illustration because then you can size up and move characters and stuff. And now I can't even use that term because like nobody knows what color forms are.
It is, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't heard that term. I know what you're talking about, but I never heard that called that.
Yeah, I think that was just the company that made them, or the biggest company that made them. But so now I've got panel 1. This is going to be her. She's just going to be like, she's kind of keeping a lookout. So actually I need to make the eyes a little more clearly look out. There we go.
I love the loose gestures.
And then we've got, it's going to be the same shot, but over there. Yeah. I think, I kind of think, I don't know, like, when do you plan on, when do you want to finish your book then? So let's say we say like June is your deadline.
I had given myself to the end of the year. I'd like to see if maybe it's a shame because it's kind of a summer themed book, but I thought maybe if I can try and have it for something I can start promoting close to Christmas.
That sounds good.
So,
So like, okay, so finish it. Finish your scripts. First draft should be done by the end of May? Your script?
yeah, I think that's a fair, yeah.
Final draft by June.
Mm-hmm.
Then July, August, September, October, November. That gives you half a year to work on the art.
The illustrations, I could do that.
That's pretty good, you know. Half a year, you do two what would that be? 2 spreads a month?
Okay.
Right? Because then it's 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32. Yep. That would do it.
32. Okay. I think that's doable. Yeah.
So there's your schedule.
I'm hoping maybe that if I can do like what you're doing, if I start live streaming it, it'll keep me a little more accountable to.
It keeps you focused. It's interesting. That's one thing I get out of this. I really enjoy like just the focus that, because if I'm like being recorded, it's like I can't just slack off and not, you know, work on my thumbnails or whatever.
Yeah.
So I end up pushing myself a little further, I think, than I might off stream. Like
I have to do that, and I'll be set up because if I do my work physical, I'll have to have the camera set up over the desk.
Yeah, and what you do is like you do something stupid like I did at the beginning of the day today, where I started streaming and I said, today at minimum, I want to get 5 of these pages roughed out. And I know I'm a slow artist, so it's like I kind of knew I was shooting myself in the foot by saying that. Like it's going to be a later night than I'd like on a weekend. But then again, it kind of works because by the time I was like 4 in, I'm like, well, I got to do one more just to like hit that thing because I said I was going to do it. Right. None of us like publicly saying we're going to do something and then not doing it, you know? So,
yeah.
So that's what you'll do is like, you know, if you do a live stream, you do live streams where you constantly are saying like, okay, by the end of like, again, like by the end of June, I'm going to be done with this script and I'm going to do a live stream that runs through the parts of the script that the only thing that sucks about that is the writing part would be really hard to kind of make happen. You know, I don't know if I could write and stream. That sounds
I know
impossible.
Yeah. In fact, I've even found I know my roommate / boarder, he goes to the library, so he turns off everything, he says, when he writes out his stuff that he works on. And I found that I can kind of come down here, but I don't like having music on unless it's just orchestrated music. Even music with lyrics I can't have on if I'm writing. I find it sort of, the words start throwing me off, so I have to have either dead silence or just a little bit of soft orchestrated music that's not too distracting, just so that I can keep the words flowing through my head and concentrate on just that, for like turn off my phone, turn off the internet, turn off all of that, and just concentrate on just that, because otherwise I'm not gonna get anything done.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I think I don't know. I think it's completely doable. So who's the friend you're gonna do it with? Would be the cartoonist that you know lives upstairs or whatever.
Oh, this I'm doing. This is just mine.
Got it.
Yeah. He has his own thing that he does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you you kind of have your thumb on the world of comic books and artists, I guess. A
little bit.
Are you familiar with that? Does the name Ben Dunn?
Ben Dunn sounds familiar, but I don't know. I only have my thumb on the world of like indie comics. Is he an indie guy?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What did he do?
Because he does right now the work, because Jim writes for his stuff.
Okay.
So he does he did Ninja High School, Ninja versus Aliens.
Okay, I've heard of Ninja High School. I haven't
Yeah,
read it. I should read it. It sounds fun.
yeah, that's what Jim's done some of the writing for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's his he was a bit of an odd writer because he it's hard to explain. Because he takes a long time to build up a story, and Ben gets mad at him a lot. He says, because Ben's stuff is very dynamic, his artwork is very dynamic and very fast moving, and Jim's more of a slow plot sort of storyteller, and it takes him sometimes too long, I think, to get to a certain point, and Ben's kicked him off a couple of projects.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
So yeah, they've been friends for like 20, 30 years or so they sort of have a bit of an understanding, but yeah, I think he booted him off. Jim was writing Ninjas versus Aliens, and it was taking too long, and so Ben was like, yeah, I'm getting a different writer. So Jim asked if he could finish his own version that he could put online, and Ben told him he could do that as long as he doesn't sell it. He can't. So I think he's writing his own ending to it.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of, yeah.
Well, that's a solution, I guess. You know. Oh my goodness. I think we're getting there. I have to say, I got to get a refill of coffee.
All right.
Real quick.
Well, I should probably call it there so you can kind of concentrate more on that, and I may end up turning in shortly and attempt to go to bed.
Awesome. Well,
So,
it sounds good. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Frank. Frank came out of nowhere.
Who?
And Frank Salazar, who's disappeared, has finally arrived. We made jokes, Frank, earlier on a stream. I think it was Gary's stream where we were like, what happened to Frank? And he was saying,
I can't see the chat, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's been like chiming in a ton. But he also said, notice me, senpai. and he also asked, what was the name of your book, Philip? Which you mentioned, but why don't you let him know before you take off?
Oh, yeah. Crocs with Socks.
Yes.
That's what it is. I just suddenly clicked on comments. Is this what everybody's been typing in the chat?
Yeah. That's the chat. So
far. I see it here now. Okay. I hadn't covered that now.
Yeah, and I hadn't been paying attention to chat because I was doodling, and I just noticed that Frank out of nowhere was there. Frank, if you want to hop on, man, you're more than welcome.
Who's Captain Courage? Somebody asked, is that
Captain Courage is Frank.
Oh, okay. Hi, Frank. Yes, it's me.
Frank has like 12 accounts.
Okay.
But yeah, Frank, you're welcome to hop on if you want. I can send you a link. Just give me a heads up in the chats.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna see if I can do something here real quick.
Okay.
Because I had, if I can find it. Oh, I'm gonna lose it now. Isn't that awful? Now that I need to see it. I was hoping I had kind of the there it is. If you can see that, if that works.
Oh, nice.
That was kind of the rough idea of the cover for the book. So
I dig it.
So there it is.
I think it's going to be pretty funny. It sounds cool. Yeah. I think you've got a good thing, and it's one of those things of the worst case scenario, right, is that you make a book and you end up with a book.
End up with a book, yeah.
That's not a bad worst case scenario.
I'm still okay with that. Yeah, I'm still okay with that. And I know I hit enough conventions I can take it with me and promote it. And I think I know enough people online that I can generate enough interest. I know my aunt says she wants some copies to show some friends of hers and for their grandkids. So
yeah,
this is when it's done. She's like, let me know when it's done. So I'm like, okay. So
well, and that's the thing. Like again, like there. you know, worst case scenario, you end up with a book and some people
Mhm.
get it and it's cool. Best case scenario, it goes further. You know, it's like, but there's nothing to lose by doing it. Is my point. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I
I
love
just
it.
kind of want to keep it kind of fun and like make the imagery light, like the imagery. I want to look entertaining. I want to be colorful and
It
have
definitely
this
had
old
a
guy,
doc.
lanky guy. That's
Yeah, it has like a Dr. Seussian vibe already. You know, with the
yeah, it's definitely been an influence. So yeah, so I kind of grew up with his books. So
oh, dude, Seuss is again just great stuff.
yeah,
I have to draw this grumpy uncle here. What was he saying? I also have to pay attention to the script. This is the only problem of being an artist and drawing your own, writing and drawing your own stuff. Sometimes you can get an artist brain mode where you forget to like leave space for type, and it's like I
right.
have to not be that guy. I have to think design and art
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
always want to leave enough space for that stuff. Okay,
yeah.
I need to
Need
probably
coffee.
put on it. Yeah, get some coffee and put
Yeah.
on another trailer. Philip, it's been
All
a
right.
pleasure. You're always
Yeah,
welcome back
likewise.
on too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll do more conversations. Maybe we can do a follow up. Like let's follow up again and see where your progress is. You better make
Yeah,
progress by the
absolutely,
next
man.
time.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
I want to
All
finish
right.
script soon.
All right. I will put my foot to that then. So,
Awesome. I'm
all right.
excited to see. It was nice to kind of meet you in semi person, like virtually. So nice to put a face to the name. You know,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, it's nice to finally
Cool.
chat with you too. So,
Yeah, I
right.
appreciate it. Cool. So let's see. I'm gonna put on the trailer
Okay.
for two stories, and
Stories.
also make
Okay.
sure you guys are checking out Philip's stuff. Philip Chandler, uh, Instagram. Your Instagram is
Still
Philip.
Chandler Arts is the Instagram. I put most of my stuff up there. And I do
Exactly.
have a YouTube channel that went a little bit dead, but I'm going to be starting up again probably next week, which is just I think it's just under Philip Chandler or Chandler Arts. So
Awesome. I love it. And maybe we can make some like cross streaming
yeah, well,
drama.
when we start our, I was going to say when we start our monthly stream with we'll definitely have you on there if you'd like. So
Oh yeah, anytime,
it'd
man.
be great to have you guys on there.
And vice versa. It'll be fun.
All
So
right, all right.
cool. All right. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Philip and and now like suddenly Frank has gone silent. I was like, Frank, I'll invite you on
Oh,
and like
you're back.
silent in the chats again. He's like the ghost. You guys have heard of the ghost of Kiev. That was Frank. That's okay.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night then, Josh. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right,
All right.
let me put on that
Cheers.
trailer for two stories.
I'm gonna go to the studio.
And here it is. What a cool conversation. It was cool to finally meet Philip. Like we've been talking about talking on stream for a while, so that was really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna get down to brass tacks now and get this thing done. So we have thumbnails. On the script so far, we have Wilson lurking nervously at the entryway, which is going to be panel 1, right? We have panel 2, which is her hand hovering over the front doorknob. She's startled by Mr. Moulton Barrett. So that's why I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna have the stairway in the foreground there, because I think the stairway would be by the door from the layout that we looked up a while ago. Frank said, "I'm back. Do you want to hop on stream, Frank? I want to invite you on if you're down, dude. It's been a while." I'm attempting. I tried it with Philip and it worked okay. So I'm attempting to kind of hold conversations with humans while doing this. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can. Oh, did I accident? Okay. I think we're good. I just have to. Cool. Okay. So Frank said he'll come on. That's cool. We were joking earlier. If you watch the stream on Gary's channel, we were remiss at the absence of Frank. Okay, so let's see here. Frank Salazar. But know that you've been missed, Frank. All right, here is the StreamYard link. I sent it on Facebook Messenger. And you're welcome to hop on. Captain Courage can come on as well. Just throwing that out there. How many accounts? Okay, well, I'm gonna hold that off till you get on. I want to know how many accounts you have, Frank. I was catching up with Jeff Lafferty's stream as well. He's streaming again, and I'm stoked to see it because, like, I like Jeff. I like his art a lot. I've always thought he was a cool dude. When I started on Artcasters, it was a Jeff thing. It was like Jeff, Scott, and Kevin. So it's fun to see Jeff and Gibran, and like I think they're hilarious. So anyhow, I think they're awesome. They're super talented artists, and it's fun to see them back at it, like streaming and rocking it. What is he saying here? Oh yeah, I was going to write the script. So it says, he's going to say, "What are you about, Wilson? What are you about?" Wilson. Okay. And then I think we got a Frank. Frank, are you good? Oh my gosh, he looks like a Beastie Boys music video right now. Okay. Here we go, guys. Are you ready? This is going to be some special effect madness.
Hey,
Frank, you're sideways.
I know. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to fix this.
Are you wearing a Spider-Man shirt?
Yeah.
That's perfect. So were you sticking to the wall when?
I guess.
You should do like Spider-Man streams upside down. Just
yeah,
like...
I don't know why it's doing this. It won't rotate, so it's just, so I have to hold it like this.
Oh, that's too bad.
How
you been, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. This morning was a free comic book day, so I went to go do that. So nice. I missed
Did you get a haul?
Gary's stream, so I haven't seen him. Yeah, I got a big stack here of comics.
Hell yeah. Oh, I gotta go check on the. I gotta go check on the boy, so because my son's a little sick. So I'll be right back. But Frank, while I'm gone for like 2 seconds, why don't you plug your stuff? I'll be right back.
All right. So you can find me at Salazar Art Nation. I do have a link tree, linktr./ee. What is that? How you spell it? Turaco Comics. So you can go there and you can find my stuff. I have a Etsy store, so I still have some Captain Goggles and Masked Woman mini comics still there. I also have. Oh, I did post a little mini comic there for like $1.50, so you can get it. And I had something else. I was gonna show. Anyway, you can get a spiral notebook that has the Captain Goggles Maskman cover of the comic that's coming soon. I'm just waiting on the printer. So you can check out all that stuff in my my link tree. And you can go to any of my videos and on Sutton Art Nation and go in the description. So I do have a video up today. You can go check it out. I posted it up a few hours ago. So
Sorry, Frank. I was just like,
that's
"Oh, Frank's here." Bye. No, I'm just kidding. My son got really sick today, so he's been like, he threw up a couple times, and anyhow, he wanted a refill of his because we're giving him, like smart water because it has like
Oh, okay.
electrolytes and stuff. So anyhow, that's a little bit of what's going on there.
Okay, that should work now.
So, okay, sorry, you were gonna tell me about your comic book haul and like what all was there cool anything that stood out from what you got for free comic book day?
Yeah, this one is what I went for.
Oof, that's pretty
The
cool.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
It's kind of like it's an homage to the original, but also it goes into the new storyline on IDW, where I think it's takes place after the last Ronin.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is future new versions of the turtles, but they're modeled after the original.
Oh, nice.
But like if you're able to get this is pretty cool because it does have it's almost like a comparison of the original, and then it does have the first like 8 pages of the original comic. So you
Oh,
can
dude,
compare
that's
it.
amazing. I still haven't checked out like the last Ronin or any of that, Oh no, you're roboting out, Frank. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if that's on my end or on like the chat end. Like you're kind of turning into a robot real briefly there. I can't even understand what you're saying. So, am I roboting out on your end? Or...
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh man, Frank.
You're fine. It might be me. Is bad?
Yeah, I think it's your connection because I'm missing like every word you're saying, but it does sound pretty cool. Like it's like you sound like Optimus Prime when he's transforming.
Autobots roll out.
Oh, now it's clear. Now I can hear you fine. That's cool.
Okay. Well. All right.
It's
I
sad.
guess
It's like the last time we were having this, remember we had you do Believe, but then like the second you started doing Believe, it like stopped doing the robot thing. Oh, we lost Frank. Oh no. All right, maybe we'll get a Salazar back. How's it going, Frank?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yes.
It went out for a minute for a second, so
that's good though. Like it sounds like you're back with a vengeance. So I never got to read the last Ronin run, but I've heard like excellent things about it. Like that it was like a really incredible series. Is that true, or have you checked it out?
I haven't read yet, but I've seen YouTube videos where they go through it. So it does look very cool. So I do want to check it out. I'm waiting for the trade, but I might just go buy the individual issues. I know the last one just came out, and they had it there for I think it was like $9. But I was like, I might just wait for the trade. But apparently, I think the way it ends, like it hints at these guys. So
Nice. It's
which is
pretty
pretty cool.
exciting, man.
I'll show a page.
I'm just glad they're making good Turtles comics, you know?
Yeah, like I hear good things about the IDW run.
Yeah.
And the last Ronin, like that looked like really, really good. So I do want to check it out for myself. But yeah.
Man. Well, that's cool. I like that was one unfortunate thing about my son getting sick too, was that we didn't get to do free comic book day. Yeah.
Oh man.
So poor kid.
Yeah, and they had a lot of good stuff. I got a bunch here. So
Oh man, sweet. You got a haul. So what's your local shop? Like or would that be like doxing yourself?
no, because it's not like right next door.
Okay. That's
So
good.
it's there's three, and I went to all three, but the one I go to the most is limited editions in
Oh,
McAllen.
okay.
So if anyone is
Nice.
in that area, go check it out. And I think they've been open for a few years, not that long. I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So they're relatively new. But you know they're a good staff. Like it's a small staff, but like they're welcoming, and there's always like one or two people like dressed up like of the staff. So,
Oh,
so
sweet.
there was someone dressed up as Spider-Man Punk. I'm like, oh, cool. So, yeah. And
Spider-Man Punk,
I
like, is
went
that like
as yeah. I don't know if that's like from the like multiverse character or someone just made their own, but like their Spider Sona. But like oh that's cool. So,
nice? And did you dress up as well?
I dressed up as Captain Courage, so I did a, a short video. Oh, it's like 11 minutes, but just talking about how I'm gonna go to a comic book shop and I'm dressed as Captain Courage. And I didn't take any footage inside the shops, but I do like show my haul. So like, so yeah,
That
like
sounds
at first like
awesome.
people didn't know who I was, and like I think it just does kind of intimidate people because it's like this military style. So no one asked questions until like the third store I went to, and a lady that worked there was like, "Oh, did you go to Comic Con like that?" And then I talked to her for a little bit and told her like, "This is my own character," and
Oh,
I had
nice.
some of my mini comics of the Armor of God, so I gave one to her. So
Nice.
so like, okay, cool. Yeah.
I like that. It's like you have the mini comics like ready to kind of to show people if they ask, you know. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and that's why I took him. If anyone asks, like I would just give him a comic. But I think people are just kind of like, I don't know why this guy's just like
So Frank, I was watching Jeff Lafferty's stream. I haven't watched the whole thing from like Thursday or whatever. But
okay.
because I have to watch them after, because for some reason they stream the same time we do, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. But the only thing that sucks is I actually really like Jeff Lafferty's stream, so I'm like, I can't watch it when I'm streaming, but like I try to catch up afterwards. And they were kind of mentioning that you have like 50 accounts. and then I was noticing, you know, even on my in my chats or whatever, there's like Captain Courage, there's Frank. How many
yeah.
accounts do you have, dude?
I think because there were some I used to manage, and they're just kind of like dormant. So like, but I still have access to them. So like, I'll give them a like and a view. Uh, so let's see. So I have Salazar Art Nation, and then there's a
You don't have
Truckle
to
Creative.
reveal all of them too, if there's like specific like secret ones or something.
No, like it's
Okay.
mostly the ones that I use, just not as often. Like the
Yeah.
Truckle Creative Cast. Uh, so that this one, Captain Courage, and yeah, I was uploading a little video for Captain Courage today, and I forgot to switch out. So when I was in the chats, I realized, oh, I'm under the wrong account.
You know, like that's a problem, Frank. You just gave away your secret identity.
There
You
you
know?
go.
Like, but no, that's pretty awesome. Like, I guess that makes sense. It's just like it was funny. It was funny to me. I've been enjoying like I'm glad Jeff and Jib are back though, you know.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them like rocking it.
Yeah, I was on there briefly, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I was on vacation. Then they were
Nice.
streaming, so I was like, oh, I'll hop on for a little bit, and so I'm like in a bed streaming because it's not my here like my place where I have everything set up, so I'm just like in bed talking to the phone. I was like, but yeah,
That's like a streaming classic, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Um that's awesome, dude. So how are the comics coming?
They're coming good. I'm still waiting for the 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 Captain Goggles one, the one that I had printed. Just because there are like a lot of different delays, but it should be done this coming week. That's what I heard. They're also having a paper shortage, so they just got a notification about that recently.
Nice. I
So
mean,
hopefully it doesn't affect the my stuff. But,
yeah, the supply chain issues, man, are just insane, you know. It's just been crazy. The nice thing about it, this is what I'm hoping, you know, because there's all these signs of like a potential recession happening right now.
yeah.
And like I am really hoping that it's, you know, from what it seems like to me, it seems like it's more of a supply chain issue. And
Mhm.
the second the supply chains are able to open like, you know, fully, then like I think a lot of the recessive kind of tendencies of the economy right now will kind of disappear.
Yeah.
But you know, again, like who knows, you know? Um I have no idea what that mouth was that I just drew. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's a little better for observing. Like, you know, somebody's not going to be like, observing. Like, anyhow, whenever I draw like a mouth position on a character, it's like I always want to make sure that it's matching a vowel that they're saying in a sentence.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's
that
something
helps it be
I
more believable.
yeah, something I need to work on because sometimes I'll just have my characters just like an open mouth or just smiling and they're like saying a full sentence.
I have to admit though, like a comic where somebody's just got like a gritted teeth smile, like in everything they say would be pretty amazing. What do you think?
I don't know, that would be cool. Well, kind of like the Ninja Turtles were for sure just like this.
Oh yeah, that's true. The Ninja Turtles don't have like a massive um
Not
yeah,
in the first one.
in the
Uh,
movie? Oh no.
in the comic, I mean.
Oh, the comic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, in the movies too, they didn't have a ton of mouth action.
Yeah, and I think that was just because of the puppeteering. But, yeah.
I am I weird for still I don't know. I rewatched the Ninja Turtles movies a couple years back, the originals.
I just watched them recently when I went on vacation in Corpus because that's when I get to watch like all this stuff like on Netflix and all these other things because I
Mhm.
stay with an aunt on my ex's wife's side and they have Netflix and Disney Plus and all that, so I'll just like start binge watching. So I was like,
Nice.
oh,
It's
I'm
like
gonna
catch
watch
up
all
day.
the yeah. So I watched I rewatched all the Ninja Turtle movies that were there. I think it was the first three, and then the animated one, which I think it's unofficially the part four of that,
Okay.
because they at
I
the
don't know
end
if I
they
ever saw the animated one.
yeah I liked it. It didn't do too well because it didn't have Shredder. I think that was like
Ah,
people were like, this is not a Ninja Turtles movie, but it had like all these Aztec monsters, and I thought it was a cool plot, but I liked it. It starts off they kind of like have already broken up. They're already doing different things, and Leonardo is off in the jungle training, and Raphael is a vigilante. So it was like, so it's not bad. I enjoyed it, but it didn't really take off that much.
Now I'm curious. Now I like kind of want to check it out because I will say the first movies when I rewatched them a couple years back, from what I remember, they at least the first one held up. Like it was still fun, you know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it even the effects, because they were practical, they seem to hold up. I don't know.
Yeah, like
Maybe
I just watched them and they held up fine for me. I just like some stuff is like they mention is outdated, but like that's fine. It still works.
What, like the Go Ninja Go rap?
Actually, that's my favorite part. But
it is pretty awesome.
Are
you trying to like? Are you on a conscious mission to bring back?
I'm trying to bring him back. The turtles.
Bring back the Hammer.
Hammer and Vanilla. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of old MC Hammer the other day. I was
see
Adam's Family Groove and the MC Hammer theme and
the Addams Family, man. That's a pretty amazing bit of hip hop history there. I shouldn't call it hip hop. I should call it rap. But you know what's funny? I was talking about like I was going on this like deep dive, and I had forgotten about the whole beef. I was watching like a bunch of different, like listening to like playlists of like different hip hop beefs.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten about the whole Jay-Z versus Nas thing.
Oh, I don't think I even heard about that.
But anyhow, I wish I had been talking. I wish you had been in the chats when I was talking about that and like doing deep cuts of like MC Hammer. I just think that would be pretty classic. It's like, man, when Nas did like Ether, it just totally shut down you know, Jay-Z, and you're like, yeah, like so when
Hammer and Ice went at it.
Yeah, when Hammer
crushed Ice.
Yeah. When he did Go Ninja Go, it just like shut down Vanilla Ice's career.
Well, that was Vanilla Ice that did Go Ninja Go.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was Hammer. Oh my gosh. So you're like, so first Vanilla Ice does like Go Ninja Go, and then Hammer comes back with like the Addams
Family Groove.
And there was no coming back for Vanilla Ice after that.
Yeah. Which I don't know if you've seen it. I think it was like last year or a couple of years ago. So Vanilla Ice did a Bar-S commercial.
Oh wow!
The hot dogs. So he did the song.
Wait, a commercial?
Baby got back. So it was like Baby got buns, and he's talking about hot dogs and buns, and that's hilarious. The video for it is hilarious.
That is very funny. Oh man,
Baby got bun.
I kind of dig it. I thought I was gonna like rock these roughs today real quick because I've literally busted through like 4 pages of roughs throughout the day, and they've all gone fairly quickly. And then when I'm starting to comp out this page, it dawned on me like this page isn't going to work without 12 panels. And then I was like, damn it. It's never easy. It's always going to like be a there's always curveballs with comics. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be kind of fun to have a 12 panel page amid a comic that's mostly following like a 9 panel grid.
Yeah.
But still it's like, oh, now I'm going to be up late, you know, again. Oh, anyhow. So comics at the offset printer.
Mm-hmm.
Is Tarako got anything coming up, or is it still on hiatus?
I was still planning on doing something Monday. I was looking for a guest, but the one I was talking to dropped out temporarily. But I was thinking I'll still go on. But now I'm not so. I'm hoping my connection holds out and I'm not roboting. Yeah.
Well, you haven't
Uh,
roboted like since the very intro. I think
oh,
what
okay.
happened was you transformed. It was like it was just it needed that little or kind of moment, you know.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, and Anna's like been like totally busy. Like right now she's at work at janitorial. So she's been trying to catch up on stuff at home. So I'm not sure if she'll be available Monday, but I'll let her know, and if she wants to hop on, she can.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
figure just like a little catch up stream, like just what. Maybe I'll have some news about the comic by then, but we'll see.
That sounds
Just because
awesome,
I want
man.
to just get back to streaming because I haven't been doing it for a while.
Well, you know, you're missed, but you know, life gets crazy and busy, so that makes
Yeah,
sense. How is everything? Like everything other than that good?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Have you watched have you been able to watch the Moon Knight at all?
No, and I was gonna watch it over there, but since
Uh-huh.
I had my kids there, like I'm not sure if this is a because I know like they're
No. No, Moon
I
Knight's not Moon Knight's not kid.
okay because I had heard like that Disney was like gonna be doing some more gritty stuff and like oh which is cool, but I was like I was like hey kids let's watch this and then there's like
No, it's like it's definitely a show where like people get murdered. Like it's
okay
not
and that's what I wasn't sure if like how graphic or gory I was like because
it,
I didn't need the family saying like, "Well, Frank just came and was watching gory stuff with the kids, and I don't think he should see them anymore." So,
yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I thinking about it, it's like I probably wouldn't show it around my son. He's a little young for it, you know.
yeah,
When he's like maybe 12, probably old enough. So it's not it's
okay.
kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of violence,
Oh, okay, okay.
you
No,
know,
not too bad.
but a
I've
lot of
seen that
blood.
before. Yeah, okay.
But I don't know. It's an interesting show. I'm digging it so far.
Yeah, I was watching some reviews of it, so I was like, okay, it doesn't look bad. I know it just ended, so um, but, like,
Now I'm curious about the Sandman and if they're gonna get that right. That definitely wouldn't be something to watch around the kids either.
and I was watching. This was like years ago, but I was watching Watchmen, and I was watching it at when I lived at my ex's, and I had my son there. He was a little young, but there was
Oh
like,
no.
but he wasn't really paying attention, and I just kind of lost track. And I was watching the movie, and there's like it came in at that sex scene, and
Yeah.
right at that moment, my father-in-law comes home from work, so I'm watching a sex scene with my baby.
Oh well, how old
But
though?
well, I think he was like a toddler or maybe like 1 or 2.
Okay,
So
because I was gonna say there's like this age, like I know when my son was like 3 months old or something, I could have pretty much anything on, and
yeah,
he'd be like, you know, it was like he'd just like be sleeping on my lap or whatever, you know. But it's like, but yeah, I guess a year is a little. That's a,
like oh, I forgot about this scene, and okay, well, he's not paying attention. Like, and then, but my father-in-law came in, and I heard about it, so I was like, oh, never mind.
you gotta be careful with the movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's hilarious, man. Let me see if I can find Elizabeth's. I'm trying to find like the dad character here. Where? Oh, there he is. There's the creepy. Okay, he's supposed to look a little creepy, and that's kind of that's my model. Okay, so let's see here. We're doing a thumbnail. Okay, it's going to be him kind of. Oh, I just had the wrong person speaking.
Oh yeah.
Man, Frank. Yeah, this comicking thing is very fun, but it's like, you know, again, I kind of feel like it's so much work. Like, why do we do these things?
I know. I don't know. I think it's part we're masochists, and
You
two
think
is
so?
we just love the craft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because there's like times like, oh, I'm gonna do this big old panel, and I'm like, why did I start this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of at that point with, and this is just the rough stage, but I'm just like, why 12? Why 12
Yeah.
panels? I guess the nice thing about a 12 panel page is like it's not going to be as much detail on each
Yeah.
panel, you know? So in theory it'll be like less background. So I guess it's good. I'm trying to
Yeah.
justify it in my head.
A lot of stuff that I did with Captain Goggles and Mask with the mini comics that oh good I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I don't have to go back to it. And then like I had the bright idea of like I'm gonna take all those pages, put them in one big comic, and I'm gonna color it. And then like oh I have stuff where like I put so much detail, I have to color it, or I need to add more detail because there's stuff in it. So I was like, oh, I'm going back.
You're like, this is going to be easy. I'm going to add detail to my detail, and then I'm going to get busy detailing that. And it's like, wait, what was I saying about this being easy? Yeah. I definitely.
So there's I did a double page spread in the mini comic, and I was like so proud of myself. And but now like that I was sending it off to the printer, just because the way they have theirs set up, I had to cut it as pages, so I'm hoping it'll align correctly. So since I'm not the one there doing it, I can't go and fix anything. So like, okay, well, whatever happens. I already paid for it. I'm not gonna get another chance. But like, I'm hoping like yeah, at least it lines up at least a little bit. so, so yeah. So,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
page design is a whole thing. Okay, let's see here. I'm really trying to maintain focus. And also, I think I need to play a book trailer real quick. So,
Okay.
what trailer? I guess I played 2 stories last time.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll put on
Jacob's
apartment. I think that's actually, I should mess with people and just, if they're like, hey, I picked up a copy of Jacob's apartment, I should just be like, you mean Jacob's apartment?
He's
That's
French.
Jacob is the official pronunciation. And then they'll be like, okay, I'm returning your book. And it's like, no, I was joking. Okay. So let's see here. We're going to put on the trailer for that. I think I will get some sort of caffeinated beverage as I disappear. So hopefully I can have a second one. I might have to just brew up some more coffee. So I need to get through 7 more panels of roughs before I can call it Frank. Although I'm glad to have your company here. You guys, Frank Salazar exists. He's real. He's alive. We found him. All right. So I'm going to put on the trailer and I'll be shortly back. So here's Jacob's apartment.
Okay.
And I really want to edit this trailer. Okay, Frank, you have to You have to bug me to do this. I need to do an edit that's like a Frank Salazar edit, where it'll be like the whole thing, but then like every 5 seconds it'll clip in with like you going like this, and it'll be like, and Frank, like, featuring Frank. Like, I think that would be amazing. But just like, it's the regular trailer, and then it's just like every second, like every, I don't know. We got to do a Frank edit.
Oh, that'll be great.
All right. Well, okay, so here it is, guys. Whoa, wait a minute. That was the wrong thing. That was just a background. What am I doing here? That was cool. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. The actual trailer. And Frank. No, I'm just, okay, so here we go, guys. Boom.
Clearly it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing pain. I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams.
All right, so I have my coffee pot brewing.
Oh, cool.
Mad amounts of coffee, and that should hopefully, well, not mad amounts, like a couple cups worth. But yeah, so that's what's happening here. What's next on the mini comic front?
Let's see. So I'm finishing up the text on Texas freeze. I just need 4 more pages of just adding dialogue. And I want to do either another Captain Gauss and Maskellman mini that doesn't really connect to the Warbanker 7 story we're doing, but I'm just trying to think of something that's kind of adds to it, and but it's its own thing. So maybe like
Okay.
a prequel of Captain Goggles. Since I did that one Maskellman, like Maskellman's field journal, where it's like a little bit before she meets Captain Goggles, like, oh, maybe something Captain Goggles going on a different adventure before he meets Maskellman. So.
That sounds cool. Yeah, I'm go ahead.
And I got an idea for maybe like a 4-page comic Friday, because like something that happened when I was at Bible study, and I was like, oh, I can make a little comic about this. So
Nice. Was it
there was a guy that he got scared from a little bug. So
from
I was
a
like,
bug?
oh, I can do something with that. I was like, and I'll change it up so it's not like making fun of the guy, but just like the situation.
So it's a guy who got scared of a bug. I want to hear the story, Frank.
Okay. Well, so So we were having like a barbecue for Bible study,
Hmm.
and it was the guys were outside. So I think they had just finished eating. I was still eating, but we're also having coffee. So they just got on this hot scalding coffee, and so one of the guys is just standing up. He's talking about stuff, and he's always like talking about like how he like casts out demons or just stuff like that. He's always like uh, uh, uh talking a lot about like pretty much how cool he is and how he's at work. And I tell him this, and so it was just funny. Like this little bug, a stink bug, just flies on him. He sees it, he freaks out. He goes like this. He grabs the coffee which just came out of the pot, throws it on himself.
The coffee?
Yeah. And he was like, "Ah, did you see that bug?" And like, it's like, and we see it land on the table. It's like it's this little, little bug. I was like, "Are you serious? Like, this is what you're scared of?" And like, he just like took off right after. But like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I thought that was hilarious, and I was like, I can totally turn this around into a little
Yeah,
four-page comic.
I think the context is pretty hilarious, actually.
Yeah, yeah, like I think
That's
just
pretty
having it
funny.
as,
A little
and I would change
hubristic.
the design because the real guy is like tall and skinny.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool if I have a big, buff, burly character talking crap,
Oh,
and
that's
not that this guy was talking crap, but like having like I lift weights and I do this and that, and
yeah.
just have this little bug.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah, something like that. So that's what I'm thinking.
I think that would be you know what you could do is you know those old ads where it's like the nerd on the beach and
Yeah,
like the jock
yeah,
walks by and is like, "Hey nerd," and like takes the girls or whatever, and then the guy
yeah,
like goes home and does the workout kit. Like do it in that style. So it's like a guy who's just like, I'm gonna teach you the ways to become a man. Like it's like the comic is him selling a product or something where he's just like, you know, you do this and you'll never have fear again, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And then you have like a bug just appear and freak him out. I love it. I think that would be hilarious.
Cool.
That's
Yeah, I think we could do that.
that's a good bit. Oh,
Yeah,
Frank.
cool. Which
You
I
should,
thought was funny because I was kind of laughing at it. And he's like, "Oh, I'd like to see like what you do if a bug lands on you." And he's seen the Budcast, so I was thinking, dude, I ate a scorpion. Like I ate a bug this big, so I'm not. So it's
you know
like,
what's funny? So here's the thing. I have heard tale of this, and I don't know if I ever watched it. I don't think
oh,
I ever watched it.
it's on the truck, or it's I think the official Budcast special.
Okay, I need to watch it. I don't know if I can watch it. I'm definitely one of those dudes who like.
There is a
I don't
lot
know
of
if I
bug
can watch.
eating.
I don't know if I can watch somebody eating bugs. Does anybody
It's
get
like,
sick?
no, I don't think so. No, I don't think Anna got sick.
Did
You mean
you?
anyone watching? I don't know. There was people that were. They said they were like it was making them sick, but I don't think anyone threw up. I don't know. If they
Oh
did, they didn't
man.
tell me. So, but no.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch the Bugcast. It's like famous at this point in
I
our
know
circles.
Scott saw it. He was like pleasantly surprised because what everyone thought is that we're just gonna like eat a bug and it was gonna be ew gross and that's it. But like no, we're like we made a whole meal.
Nice. You guys made an event out of it, you know?
Yeah, I was like, we're
That's
gonna do this. We're gonna
cool.
do it right. So I was like,
So would you ever rock eating bugs again, do you think, after that scenario?
yeah, I'm not just like random bugs off the street, but like uh
No, you wouldn't
quicker
just like
protein.
I
Yeah, because you still gotta prepare them because like because they're out in the wild eating stuff, so you need to like kind of clean out their system so it's not
so
toxic.
so much. It's like it reminds me of that. Remember that book? I think it was like was it Beverly Cleary, or it was around that time of like Beverly
maybe.
Cleary books. But you remember How to Eat Fried Worms?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit. So, okay, the maid here. So he's basically said that she's keeping the lookout for Robert very clearly,
Okay.
right? She notices that Elizabeth's dad shows up. He's like, "What are you about, Wilson?" Then it's like Wilson goes, "Observing the weather, sir." And now it's like, "Cloudy as usual. Isn't there something you should be doing?" And now she's going to be walking past him saying, it's going to have that same background, but what is she supposed to be saying? Hold on, let me look at the script. Yes, sir. But it's just there's so many actions that need to be happening, you know? This is the hard part about like translating a script. Like, I don't know, for me, it took a while to kind of realize I think this actually needs 12 panels to work the way I want it to, because it's got humor beats to it too, you know? I feel like to do funny stuff, you have to have like a I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like to do humor, I think sometimes it really does require like some timing. And I don't know. It's at least what I'm thinking, but I might be overdoing it with the panels. Do you script out your stuff, Frank?
Not usually. I'll have like a vague outline, but that's something I'm learning to do. So like with the Captain Goggles comic I want to do, like the pre-comic. I will probably script that out. And Anna's working on a script for Warp Anchor 7, so she's been doing a lot of rewrites and going back and trying to make things uh, uh, connect. So I'm just like, and I'm just kind of I'm hoping like that I'm able to translate that well on the page. But yeah, that's something I'm working on, just actually writing stuff out, because I'll just kind of like think of it and I'll go off with an idea and I'll reshape it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to do better so I can have like an actual script so I can like, kind of plan out page beats.
Yeah, or like fat beats, you know, like MC Hammer beats.
Heavy beats.
You know what's terrible? This just attests to like the generation I'm from. When you said go for it, what do you think I thought? Just guessing from my age.
Oh. Let's see.
If you're thinking like stupid commercials that we grew up watching.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
Go for it, dude. I'm not sure because I know there's like a lot of stuff.
Okay, because there was Go For It, Connect 4, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Cut.
I was just throwing it out there because my brain is so programmed by 1980s advertisements and early 90s advertisements
that
are on during cartoons that I literally I can't hear somebody say go for it without thinking Connect 4. It's horrible. Okay. It's like I'll be at a meeting, like an executive meeting, and somebody says go for it, and I'm like Connect 4, like in my head every time. I'm that programmed. That's how good advertising was back then for kids.
I'm like that more with 80s TV shows. So like when I hear, oh, now I know, or I'll say now you know, it's like, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
That was such a good catchphrase, really. I feel like we need to bring back catchphrases in comics.
Yeah. We definitely need catchphrases.
So I have a side of me that really wants to write. Okay, there's a couple of genres I'd like to write, but at some point, I think it would be really fun to write just a pure hokey superhero comic that's like in the vein of like Adam West Batman, but just sincere. Like it's just that, I think that would be fun. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like it's
With catchphrases like knowing is half the battle. Like I need to come up with some really good catchphrases.
yeah, I think that would be cool. I'm
Be
trying
fun.
to think if Scott has any catchphrases in Young and the Dead, since that is like 80s. Like
Yeah, it's a
there should
good fun comic.
yeah.
If not, there should be.
We'll
There is
talk
that
to
one
him.
time where it's where they're saying, "Hey, those guys are dead," and then they go, "No, they're young and the dead," and then they all look at the camera like,
That should be the last panel, the last page.
and it's kind of like in Captain Courage when somebody says, "Hey, Captain," and he goes, "No, that's Captain Courage,"
Yeah,
and then there's like a ding, like his
his
mouth
teeth just
creates a sparkle. Yeah. Or in Two Stories when when my character is just saying like, "Hey, I got to tell you a story," and then somebody else turns to him and goes, "You mean two
two
stories?"
stories.
Ding. Yeah, I think that's essential for every story. Every comic ever written really needs to have a moment where it says the title of the comic
Yeah,
in it. What do you think, Frank?
roll credits.
Roll credits. I'm in a goofy mood.
Does
Frank.
Corey have a comic? I know there's one he did but doesn't put out.
He had the one that was done for the anthology.
Oh yeah.
The Hundreds anthology, and it was what was it called? The
Yeah.
something Heart, and it was really cool. It was like a seafaring story, and and now he's working on another comic, and he also had a comic that he doesn't want people to know about called The Mixed.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about because I know he's like shown some of it.
Yeah, he got like 70
past
pages
streams.
done of that and then called it. But that's how he learned how to draw. And then
Oh, wow.
I think right now he's working on this crazy epic comic that's about time. And I'm really eager to talk with him more about it because he sort of was hinting at working on something. And then the next thing you know, he's like posting this crowd scene page. And I'm like, sweet, Corey's doing comics, So we've convinced him to join the dark side.
Good. I want to have something of Corey's to hold up when we're talking about our stuff.
100%, man. I mean, I think his animations are incredible.
Yeah.
But I also I'm really biased to comics always. So anytime I can get a
if
friend
he put out his
hooked on
animations
comics,
on DVD or something, then I can look, put your heart out, or whatever.
Yeah, put your heart into it. Yeah,
put your heart into it.
Yeah, that's true. There's a product attached with comics, which is cool. I mean, Corey's got like that cool T-shirt, the First Amendment, and he has a lot of cool stickers.
Yeah.
But I agree, it'll be really cool for us to have a Corey Kerr product. I also hope he at some point publishes his kids book because he finished a kids book.
Oh, okay.
A while ago, and then we I think just sort of like once it was finished, it just got kind of put to the side. So I'm hoping at some point he'll like color that and put it out as well. So Corey, if you're watching, you're on notice.
Yeah.
Frank put you on notice.
That's it. Put something out, Corey. I want to hold up one of your books. Like this.
Yes. But yeah, I'm actually really excited about. I think Corey is such a good artist. It's like, of course, if he does a comic, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His animation is like And I know he doesn't like praises, but like it's fantastic. So like to see that in the book form, that would be cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So get on it, Corey. I think you need to finish about 350 pages by next week. I think that's what Frank's been trying to tell you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 350? Do you think that's enough, Frank, or do you think like maybe he should do like
I think that's
1,000?
too little, but at
Yeah,
least to
I
start
agree.
off.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so maybe like 1,000 pages by next week. That's what we want to see, Corey. Chris
Nobody
Calagua
likes
said,
foam.
if comics are the dark side, what is the light side? You want to handle that, Frank, or you want me to?
Will be comic strips will be the light side.
I would say there is no light side.
There
It's
is
all
no-
darkness. It's all darkness.
When it comes to artists, it's a lot of dark.
So that was my goofy ass answer to it. How's it going, Caligula? How you doing, buddy? I always want to invite you on the stream, but also keeping in mind that you have a very young daughter who you don't want to wake up. So I'm guessing it's a no, but just so you know, you're welcome to join us as well. I bragged about you a little bit. I think it was on Gary's. I actually talked about some lessons I learned from watching you at a comic convention.
Oh.
So
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, I learned it from watching you. That's another one of those ones, right? Do you remember the one where there's a girl who just like broke a bunch of stuff in a kitchen with like a frying pan?
It was a take on this is your brain on drugs. So
Yeah,
it
and
was
didn't that girl end up being in like Josie and the Pussycats or something later?
Yeah, she became this big actress.
Yeah. And I could understand why, because I remember as a young man watching that, I was like, the girl's pretty attractive. Like which was weird because I don't think that was the goal of that ad, to be like, here's an attractive lady. It was like, I think it was trying to be like a shocking
drugs.
kind of don't do drugs thing.
And I was like, I wouldn't mind having eggs with her.
Oh man. Yeah. That was a good commercial. Let's see, other. Yeah, we're gonna just talk 80s commercials now.
Yeah, just talk PSAs.
We're gonna keep talking 80s commercials and PSAs until Corey, give us those 1,000 pages. That's all I'm saying.
Those
Where are the
first
1,000 pages, man?
pages.
We need them all, right? Like tomorrow.
If you do 1,000 days of making comics, Corey, 1 page a day for 1,000 days.
Yep.
That's 1,000.
Putting you on notice too, Chris Calagua. I want 2,000 pages tomorrow of comics. I'm kind of kidding because Caligua's got some pages racked up. Have you read any of Caligua's stuff, Frank?
No, I refuse to. Actually, I don't know what he's done. I know he does like a lot of great art, and I've seen some of the stuff he's made, but I don't think I know the name of his book.
Yeah. It's
books.
Sunless Circus. It's the premise of the first one is a robot decides he's going to leave the circus that he grew up in to become an accountant.
Oh, okay.
And it's so good. It's so good. And Chris, if I butchered your pitch, you can chastise me later. But yeah, you should check out what Chris is doing. He's actually makes some really good comics. Like they're like these very cool, like fantasy, but like circus, Victorian era, like I don't know, steampunky goodness.
Okay.
Very, very cool stuff. Here she's looking behind her to see that he's gone. And then what she's going to do is pick up a frying pan and just start breaking everything. Now I want to draw that. Now I just want to draw like a comic that starts off with like a slow build plot, and then out of nowhere, one of the characters just picks up a frying pan and just starts destroying the entire comic. Somebody make that happen.
Oh wow. And so she literally destroys the comic, so she's breaking panels.
Well, first she just starts tirading in the panel she's in, and then she
Yeah.
breaks out of the panel and has to subsequently go through the entire comic just destroying every panel. This is the
And that's
side
it.
of me that wants Captain Anarchy to be a thing.
And that's a 60-page comic.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the 1,000-page comic
The
that
1,000
Corey
page.
Kerr is going to hand in tomorrow.
It's the 1,000 pages of mayhem.
That's what it'll be called. It'll just be called Mayhem. Wait, there must have been a comic done called Mayhem. If nobody's made a comic called Mayhem yet, I don't know. One of us needs to like do that just for the name. The name alone would probably
Yeah.
sell.
And if they did, I don't think it would be what we're talking about. So,
Or Frank,
actually-
should we come up with a lore for Captain Mayhem? Oh,
Captain
no.
Mayhem. How about General Mayhem?
Oh, General Mayhem would be good. Colonel Mayhem.
Colonel Mayhem.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Frank, it's so fun talking to you. I've literally gotten through 3 panels without feeling like time has passed.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's pretty awesome. I have like 4 panels left. Oh, I think Chris is cracking up from this. He said, okay, I guess Corey is a Sith Lord now. Yeah, because we've gotten him to join the dark side of comics. I think Chris, in relation to me talking about some lessons I learned. Oh no, this was him talking about the this is your stuff on drugs commercial. He said
okay.
pretty faces sell and promote things well. That's why Frank promotes comics so well. And then we've got Chris Kawaki was saying it's all old and dated stuff, Frank. I've been out of the game for a while. Don't belittle the comics you've made. You made good comics, man. But I would like to see Chris pick up the mantle and do about 1,000 page. This is going to be the new bit, Frank. You know, when Scott's like, you know, if you're new to comics, just like, you know, like start with like a mini comic or something like, and we're like, no,
Or
1,000
page
pages
comic.
in 1 week. That's right.
That would break a guy.
And then people will be like, well, but you've only like, you know, they'll just be like, you've only done like 200 pages, dude. And I'll be like, no, like 1,000 pages. That's what you need. We're not talking about me here.
We're talking about you. Do you want to get good?
Then a bug shows up and I'm like, ah.
Which that is what the comic can be. It'd probably be like a little, maybe 4 to 8 pages. But like,
you know, there is a funny bug bit in you know Bone, right? The comic Bone.
yeah.
There's that little bug Ted who has like the bigger brother, but he literally is just like a little triangle. And it's like this tiny little microscopic bug. I think when you do your comic, the bug should look kind of like that bug, like just a little tiny, he's barely a drawing, barely visible in the drawing, you know?
Yeah, and because the stink bugs are almost triangular.
Mhm.
So it's just like a little thing.
And then the guy's got to be just like a meat-headed, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's what I'm thinking. Because like the guy this happened to is like tall and lanky.
Yeah.
But like, oh, it'd be cooler if it's like a big old brobby guy.
I mean, he's like a muscles on muscles guy, you know?
Yeah. And I do want to keep the coffee part.
And maybe he's a guy who has like pecs within his pecs. He's so
Pecs on
like
pecs.
his chest has a chest. But then he has like little tiny, like, because he's a muscle guy, so he has like little tiny
legs.
legs because he doesn't do leg day. right?
He skips leg day.
And he's like, bugs suck. There's my my drawing just for you, Frank. Huh?
Bugs.
And that's gonna be his that'll actually, for some reason, I don't know why, that's in like the Browning's residence in this comic.
It's a.
I think this is a good
picture
sign
for-
that I need to go get some of that coffee I brewed.
Don't forget to take that off when you turn it into your publisher's like.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if they're like, that's the one thing that just kind of breaks the whole deal? They're just like, I'm sorry, we took you very seriously until that panel with the strange guy who had like muscles on muscles.
I don't know where you're going with this, but that is not historically accurate.
So usually I'll play like trailers or whatever, but I feel like, Frank, it's been a while since you've been on, so why don't you let people know where they can support your work, where they can follow your stuff and all that fun stuff. And I'm going to disappear and get a refill of my coffee so I don't become a lunatic.
All right, cool.
And by the time I'm back, Chris Kawagua in the chats, 1,000 pages. That's what I
1,000
want to see.
pages.
I'm going to go get a refill of coffee. I come back, I want to see 1,000 pages.
1,000 thumbnails.
1,000. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. And you can find my stuff on Salazar Art Nation on YouTube, on Instagram. If you want to support what I do take tips. But you can also buy some of my mini comics on Etsy, so Salazar Nation Comics. So I still have the first 2 mini issues plus the side story of Masked Woman. They are there, Captain Goggles and Masked Woman mini comics. And I think right now I have like 3 copies of the Halo stick figure mini comic that I done. So that's on there, and yeah, check that out.
There are so many bits I can think of that would be awesome with this bug story. Yeah, that's true. Chris was saying Josh has turned into a demanding J. Jonah Jameson. So it's like, I want to see 1,000 pages and I want them with Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man's copywritten. I don't care. 1,000 pages. Bring me Spider-Man. I have to say though, that would be funny, Frank. We should do a parody of the 100 Days of Making Comics, where it'll be the one day of making 1,000 pages, and then we could just fake it. Have it like be every comic page we've ever drawn, and just pretend we're making them all in like one day. Just be like, man, I'm exhausted. It's day 1, hour 1, and I've only been able to finish this. I mean, that's all I was able to do. I got it bound. I got a publisher. It's released. It's in bookstores. It's been an hour. I don't know, man. Comics are really hard. Do you guys have that problem? People will be like, wait, what? It's like,
well, what I was
you'll have like your stack of minis. You'll just be like,
yeah,
man, it's been 5 minutes and I was only able to make like Captain Courage, and like, you just go through all of them.
Well, what I was thinking, since like most of us have videos of us drawing, so just like taking a lot of those old ones and time lapsing them and making it look like it's all in one day.
Yeah, just be like, oh, this is like a time lapse of the last 5 minutes, and it's like 3 days of drawing. I don't know, man. It's been 5 minutes and I only finished 20 pages. I don't know if I can do this comics thing. It's really hard. Chris could join us, and it could just be like, because he has how many issues of Sunless Circus? Now I'm not even gonna remember off the top of my head. I think it's like 5 issues, but it's like he'll have all 5 done and just be like, I don't know, man. I sneezed and these issues just got done. Are comics always that hard? It's like, I love the idea of it being like, man, comics are hard. I've been at this for 2 days, and it's like you have like 50 issues done or something. All right. It's gonna happen, guys. 1,000 pages. Hashtag 1,000 pages of comics. That must already be a thing, right?
Well, isn't that like a rule that like your 1,000 drawings, you don't get good till after your 1,000th drawing or something? So like,
Yeah, I could see that maybe, you know.
so just make 1,000 pages of comics, and after 1,001, you'll be a pro at making comics. So,
It's true. Just do it tomorrow, guys.
1,000 pages a day.
1,000 pages a day. You'll be like
Oh,
a
yeah.
super pro
Super.
after that. I mean, if you just knock out 1,000 pages a day, some poor kid is like, what's your advice for like making comics? My advice is like really just do about 1,000 pages a day. That's it. I mean, that's the trick. You know, you just knock out about 1,000 really quality pages a day, and you'll be a pro in no time. It's like, wait, what?
Just look at me.
It's just wait, you haven't made 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about me here. We're talking about you,
Don't,
kid.
don't look at me.
Don't look at what I do. Look at what I say. Oh man. I don't know, Frank. I think I'm pretty sleepy and goofy right now. So anyhow, what have you been up to? Like, have you read any of the comics yet? That I don't think there would be time to have read those, right?
No, like I got those, and then I got home. Like, I'm gonna take a nap.
Nice.
I read this one because it's pretty much the first one. And I think it's like 9 pages, and then the other 9 pages is the original. So I did read this one, and I do want to see what they do with it. But the other ones I haven't really had a chance. I was just flipping through them. Let's see, where did I put them? Oh. But this one looks interesting.
Primos.
So it's kind of like Aztec type of stuff. So
Oh, nice.
it has the Spanish edition included. So I wonder if Javi has heard of this. So this would be like something he would be into.
Yeah, that does look like something up Hobbs' expertise, like in his realm.
Yeah, that's not bad too.
You know, Javier built every El Muerto book. That was one day.
One day.
Yep, just one day.
And I think he just finished a Indiegogo where he put out the original versions.
Oh, nice.
Well, I think it was a Elemental Origins. So because I think he had like redrawn some of them, but I think those are like when they first came out. He just had them like reprinted.
Oh, okay. That's pretty rad. I actually didn't know about that. Now I like want to get in on that.
I think they're still. I think it's in demand, so you can still get it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, Indiegogo does that. That's one nice thing about Indiegogo, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like the
And
only
thing about
nice thing,
Javi,
really
he already
everything
has
else.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I'm just kidding. What about Hobbs?
Says he has already done all the pages, so he has they're like ready to ship. So you're not really waiting for like.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, you gotta wait till I finish it. Like, no, they're done. Like I did them like 2 years ago or something. So,
yeah. Also, Hobbs, like, even if they weren't, which they are, but my point is, even if they weren't, like Hobbs, like he's legit earned trust in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody doubts that Javi's gonna like fulfill, you know. So, Because Javi fulfills, and he does 1,000 pages of comics a day. 1,000 pages, guys. Oh, I forgot. I got back from coffee. So, Chris, let me know in the chats. Did you finish your 1,000 pages? Are they done?
Can we see them now?
I'd like to see them and a report on my desk tomorrow morning. I don't know what's come over me. I think I've lost my mind. You know what came over me? It's 369 panels, and I'm still not done with this page. But you know what? I feel like the timing's pretty good, right? Are you following this so far, Frank? Does this make sense? We
Yeah,
got
from what I can see on my end,
so-
it's a small screen. So yeah.
so we got her, right? Let me here. I'm gonna do solo real quick. Okay, can you see this, Frank?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we got her, right? She's like kind of eyeing out the window. Then, somebody comes. Dude's
Okay.
that's going to be helpful because he has a dark jacket, so I'll clarify that a little bit. So, what are you about, Wilson? Right? She's in the foreground. I'll clarify that a little more too because it's a rough. So then she's saying, observing the weather, sir. He's saying, cloudy as usual. Isn't there something you should be doing? And she's like, yes, sir. Disappears, goes up the staircase. He looks, he's like, okay, she's leaving. He leaves. She looks back like, huh? He's gone. She's like, whoosh, back. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was just thinking about like how the last panel is the burly guy. Bugged sock.
Hold on. Oh, like, I love it. Yeah, that needs to happen. That really needs to happen.
Well, I am gonna work on that comic. So I just want to do like a either small 4 to 8 page, something I can put out relatively quickly, so I can show the guy, look, you inspired this comic.
Chris was saying, do I have to file the TPS reports too? Yeah. We really need 1,000 pages of comics. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, sorry. I like the burly guy just being like a character that just appears randomly in very serious historical fiction graphic novels. Like,
Just right.
I should have him just appear in like 2 Stories book 2. It'll be like right during a sequence that's like talking about like when I got jumped or something like really heavy, and then it's just the burly guys just like, hey, like just a panel. Oh my gosh. I'm here all night, guys. Yes, I just flew in from from doing 1,000 pages, and boy, are my arms tired. All right, once he's out of sight, Wilson creeps back down the stairwell to the front door and opens it. This was going to be a side view of the stairwell. I'm going to have her creeping down it, but I want her like almost like very exaggerated. Do 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 do. Like a spy versus spy pose kind of thing. Okay, that's a pretty good spy versus spy pose. Okay. So, Frank, what are you working on as we speak?
Right now, I am. I was commissioned to do another painting.
Oh, nice.
They wanted Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, so right now I'm just like drawing it on the computer to see how it'll look.
Nice.
And I can recreate it as a painting.
Did they snitch? Is that why they're getting stitches?
No, I think this is a present for their cousin who likes Disney.
Wouldn't it be messed up if it's like really not a present for their cousin? It's like some subtle like like, hey, this is what you get if you snitch, kid. It's like, oh no.
Stitch. Stitch.
Oh my gosh, Frank. Why I don't know. Have I been this obnoxious on every stream you've been on, or is it just like I don't know. I feel like there's some magic in the air. It's caused my brain to short circuit. That's a good 80s thing. Have you watched the Short Circuit movies recently at all?
Not recently. I did see them maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But
were they still good, or were they just kind of like, oh man, this is awful?
well, I still enjoyed it, but like some of the stuff was a little bit more like, oh, they can't do that.
Oh, some of it just doesn't age well.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in part 2, like where he's or is it part 2? Yeah, where well, they have the Indian character, but the Indian, like, it's played by a white guy. So
Oh no.
but
didn't know
one of the
this.
things he's like trying to like send this message through a touch-tone phone. So it's just dated.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out. I also wonder about like Weekend at Bernie's. I wonder if that still holds up.
I haven't seen it in a while, so I wouldn't.
That was
I
such
don't
a
even know.
bizarre plot, you know. It was kind of like, hey, there's this rich dead guy, and we're gonna pretend he's still alive so we can party at his house. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I remember of the plot. I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of a yeah. I wonder if it still holds up.
You know, the second one, they turn him into a zombie. So it's just so.
Oh yeah, like they rig him up, right? With like yeah.
Yeah, like I know in the first one they're just like carrying him around, and that's a real person. So that's the actual actor. So
yeah.
So in the second one, the corpse, this like someone steals it for a zombie ritual. So he's just like walking around, just like randomly, so and getting into these situations. So like, I'm like, okay, well, at least he doesn't have to be carried around by two guys the whole movie.
Oh yeah, because I remember they like rig him up with like string and stuff and kind of make him into like a puppet basically in the third. It's a real. I mean, that was just a dark. That was a really dark series, man.
Yeah.
You know. He's gonna be kind of. I think he's gonna be doing the like Smithers, kind of yes, the hands together thing. Your zombie comment inspired me. Okay. So I wonder if that'll read. We've got our door will be a little further away. I'm drawing a door Explorer here.
Dora the Explorer.
I don't know. I'm trying to not make stupid jokes, but it just is not happening. I'm going to be making stupid jokes all night. I can't help it, Frank. This is what happens when we haven't talked in a while. Yeah. I get really stupid. Yeah. All right, so let's see here. Do you think? Water. Oh yeah, sure. That's good. I think I need to have some creepy Victorian portraits all up on here.
Oh, cool. You can put the burly guy there.
That's a good idea.
I'll be right back.
He's going to be flexing where there's a muscle flexing from the muscle. that he's flexing because he's so strong. All right. This part to be more in shadow. I don't think the Smithers hands thing works. It should just be more of a casual. All right, we're getting closer and closer here. I don't know how fond I am of that layout there. I think I need to work it a little more. Like, it will work. It's just got to be a little clearer. Probably have to have a little furniture here or something. Make it a little more believable.
All right. I'm back.
Back, and where are your 1,000 pages, Frank?
Oh, hold on.
What's crazy is that Frank could probably deliver.
I got this much done.
That's right. That's true. You're like, I don't know, man. I just managed to finish the stack of 24-page comics. I think there's maybe like give or take 1,000 pages there, but it took me like 4 hours. Comics are really hard, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why suddenly this guy's talking like, I don't know what's going on, man. All right. Hey. What do you know? Wilson creeps back down the stairwell to the front door and opens it. See, this is why it required 12 panels, because now I got to show the front door and opening it. There's just too many actions. Too many actions. And honestly, a sequence like that, it's kind of fun to do. Like, I feel like if you do a sequence with a ton of panels, it should be like almost like a silent movie. Like,
Yeah.
it should have a little bit of slapstick to it. And since this has a lot of like action happening, I think it works because there can be like, you know, some of that kind of vaudevillian vibe to it. I feel like if you have too many panels and it's like really text heavy and insane, then like it wouldn't work, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
But I could also wake up tomorrow and be like, why did I make 12 panels? This is supposed to be like a 6 to 9 panel. All right. Go ahead.
I went on Printful because Jeremy was talking about on one of his streams. So
early?
I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Jeremy Burley, right?
Yeah, Jeremy Burley.
Yeah.
I thought you said early, like early today. Like
okay.
But yeah, you was talking about Printful and what you can do there. So I went on it, and so I made a product. I took the comic covers for the Captain Goggles and Masculine comics coming out, and I had it turned into a journal, a notebook. So
nice.
I ordered myself a copy, and
nice.
It's a grid journal. I didn't know that. It's a dot grid. So I've been using it to play around.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's about the size that the actual comic will be. So
that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, so I like it. I'm just waiting for the actual comics. I can just hold them on. You can get the journal or the comic or both.
Nice. And the journal's on Printful too?
Yeah, the journal's on Printful. So what I did with that, I integrated into Etsy. So that's what I like about Printful. I was gonna do that with a shirt, but I don't like how the shirt was looking on Printful, so I just stuck with Teespring. But I can't integrate that. But I did order a shirt, so it'll be here. I think this week or next week. So I'll show that when it gets here. So and
Awesome.
it's this design just on a shirt. So yeah.
That's super rad, man.
But yeah, you can get this on Etsy and Printful will make it and fulfill it.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. I'm making money off Anna's art because she did the whole cover.
Nice. I think I need to get into making money on other people's art. I think that sounds like a fun.
Well, I think if you commission them, you can do that legally.
Yeah, well, that's true. I agree. No, I in all seriousness, I have this plan. Not on making money from other people's art, but that made me think
Okay.
of something. I have a plan to between when I'm done with this book, The Not Death But Love, before I finish Two Stories Book 2, I think I'm going to spend about a week writing a script. And then I'm going to possibly have another artist work on it
Oh, okay.
for an all ages. And then I'm going to have that shopping around while I'm working on Two Stories Book 2.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
goal. That's what I'm thinking I want to do, if I can. Because I think I could afford to have like 1 week out when I'm finished with 230 pages of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it might be nice to just have like a writing time, you know?
Yeah.
Does that sound nuts?
No, I think it sounds good.
All right.
Didn't Scott just do that? 'Cause he just did a video where he
Well,
had
him
a
and I have been.
project.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. He has a. Are you talking about the freelance thing that like where he's
Yeah.
like running a whole? Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But that because he's doing that already. Like for you know, he actually asked a bunch of people to work with him on it. But like I've seen the pages for it too. The ones that have been done so far for that project,
Mhm.
dude, they're so cool. Like the person he hired is like pretty awesome. It's kind of unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. Ooh.
But in this case, I think I want to do sort of like what I'm doing here with my sister, but like with a different artist.
Yeah.
And I'd want to find an artist who like believed in what I was doing, but also just, you know, maybe didn't necessarily feel like they wanted to write their own script or were looking for a script, you know.
Yeah.
It may even be a collaboration with like, you know, my wife or something to have her like pencil it or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I know I want to write a script and I want to do a comic that I don't have to draw.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, I think that's fine.
And it's weird because I like drawing all my own comics. It's just there's a lot of genres and styles of comics that I want to do that I'm never going to have the time to do. And so I think that might be a fun thing to like have my main comics that I'm working on that I write, draw, illustrate, and then another comic going that's like just a whole different thing. I don't know, Frank. It might just be insanity.
Insane in the membrane.
That's right. It might be insane in the brain, you know. Or like, do you remember the real deep cut hip hop when MC Hammer? What? I feel like that has to happen. That has to be a thing.
When
Okay, she's
MC
opening the
Hammer
door.
made a cartoon show about himself.
Cool. Okay. This is actually going to be her stepping out. So now it's going to be her leaving. Didn't it, you're right. MC Hammer did have a cartoon, didn't he?
Yeah, Hammerman.
Was he like a
That-
superhero?
Yeah, that's the one I was seeing on Adam's stream once, the theme song.
Oh,
Which,
wow.
did I sing it here? Because I know we were talking about it.
I don't know if you sang the Hammer Man theme song.
When Hammerman, hammer, Hammerman, hammer. The crooks are doing crime. They're gonna do some time. Oh, better beware, because the Hammerman will be there. Here's how it started a long time ago. The legend of the hammer and how it began to grow. I forget some of that stuff, but yeah.
That's pretty impressive, man. I didn't actually. I want to check this out now. I'm going to check that out at some point. Makes me happy.
Still there unless Adam took it off, I don't know.
Because I feel like there's great hip hop battles throughout history. You know, there was like Jay-Z and Nas. Nas just kind of destroyed Jay-Z, you know, with Ether. And there was a Go Ninja Go versus the Addams Family. Okay, I can see that as a viable bit. I would like to write. So this is another reason I think it would be fun to write a script. I'd like to write like a real goofy ass comedy. You know? I don't know if that makes sense. So I feel like being able to take a break and do like an all ages book that like is comical and fun would be fun.
That'd be good.
So I could have like a little outlet for my weird ideas, like even thinking about that guy, like that muscular character. I'm like, I would love to do a comic where that character flexes and then his muscle flexes and then that muscle flexes. I'm sure that's been done, but that would be funny. Okay. We have finished. I finished. This is what I had to do today.
Oh, wow.
So I am really excited about that. Thank you, Frank, for keeping me company. Thanks, Philip, for coming on earlier too. That was a really cool conversation. And it was neat to like finally put a face to the name, because Philip hangs out in our chats all the time and stuff, and like super talented too. So yeah. Anything you want to drop or mention before we call it, other than the 1,000 pages challenge?
Let's see. I might stream Monday on the Truckle Creative Cast, so if you want to go check that out. Even if it's just me talking about random stuff, go check out. See what you think. Apart from that, if you go check out my Etsy store, you can still get the little mini comics of Captain Goggles and Masked Woman. I think I have 11 sets of those left. I'm trying to get rid of them to make room when I get the full comic, so I can just promote that on there. So yeah, check out my Etsy, and that's how you can support me.
Awesome. And I just want to thank everybody who's like tuned in and out of my streams that I've been doing all day. We got like this is what we got done today. Page 11 rough, page 12 rough, page 13 rough, page 14 rough, and page 15 rough. I'm roughing so much today that I could be one of my own dogs.
It's
And I'm here all night with these bad jokes.
It's almost 1,000 pages a day.
That's true. I mean, and this took me like 10 minutes, you guys. So I'm just kidding. This was literally all day for me. As well as these other things that I happen to do over here. I don't know. So like I also drew these, about like took me about an hour to draw these, but now I'm gonna have to put these back again. Okay. That's a pretty cool sketchbook. Okay, so anyhow, so if you guys are out there and you're feeling ambitious, knock out about 1,000 pages in a day. That's the 1,000 pages in a day challenge. Okay, so other than that, I guess I was gonna say make sure you pre-order Jacob's Apartment. That's my graphic novel done in the vein of Ghost World or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a doomed romance story, and it's out on June 7th from Graphic Mundi, and you can check out like the links below, or just go to graphicmundi.org to check out more about that. And then, of course, make sure you picked up a copy of Two Stories, my graphic novel that talks very confessionally and candidly about my experience dealing with depression, as well as my journey towards finding faith. And that'll basically do it. Thanks, Frank. It's been fun to hang out again.
Yeah.
Felt like it had been forever. So I'm glad that we've been able to hang.
Sure.
And
maybe next time I'll have the actual comic so I can actually show it.
Dude, when you get the comic, let me know and we'll try to get you on Artcasters again to promote it. That'd be fun.
All right. Cool.
Chris Calaguis, a good looking page there. Thank you, Chris. Thanks to everybody actually who showed up in the chats as well. And I will see you guys on the next stream. I'm going to be live streaming a bunch tomorrow. I thought I was going to do finished pages, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I have a publisher. So like that's annoying because I have to get all of these approved before I go to finals. So I think tomorrow, rather than work on final pages, I might try to do another 5. So at least then we'll have like a good 10 to I can send out to my publisher, and while they're reviewing or whatever, I can do more and more, but that'll give me a nice head start. And maybe tomorrow I'll bust out like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pages or something. All right. Anyhow, we appreciate you guys. Community is awesome. And Gary, that's Frank. He's here. He's alive. Just as a follow-up. All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.